begrüße euch ganz herzlich. Wir sind heute live in New York mit den Kameras von RSBN und versuchen hier eine Verbindung zu schaffen. Vielleicht sehen wir dann Donald Trump ist auf dem Weg in den Gerichtssaal für seine Anklage für Schweigegeld. Ziemlich komplizierte Geschichte, nachdem alle anderen Anklagen nicht funktioniert haben. Weder in New York noch in Georgia noch sonst irgendwo versucht man jetzt alte Kamellen von länger als, ich glaube, 12 oder 14 Jahre zurück wieder aufzuwärmen.
All right, so we are blocked from view right now, and standing next to me was a family from France with their two little ones, a little daughter and a little...
Da hier überhaupt aufwaschen können, ob auch Leute dabei sind, die hier zuschauen. Wir haben keine Ahnung, ob hier jemand reinkommt. Wir schauen mal, was hier abgeht, und dann sehen wir mal. Ich sehe allerdings keine Live-Zuschauer bei uns dabei, also so, ich sehe, Rumble funktioniert auch. Das haben wir auch zum Funktionieren gebracht. Da sind 22 Leute hier jetzt im Moment, was ich sehen kann. Niemand im Chat. Bei YouTube ist, glaube ich, überhaupt niemand dabei. Doch, da sind auch Leute dabei hier bei YouTube. Also, Bild und Ton sind gut, höre ich gerade. Da müssen wir abwarten. Ich weiß nicht, wie lange das dauert. Ich weiß nicht, was wir erfahren. Wir wissen nur, dass Donald Trump Trump Tower verlassen hat auf dem Weg zum Gerichtssaal. Und in den Pausen wird Donald Trump vor die Presse treten und was sagen. Das ist immer so. Es sind jetzt diese verzweifelten Anklagen, wo die Demokraten versuchen, den politischen Herausforderer auszuschalten. Im Prinzip geht es darum und um nichts anderes. Und was hier, wie gesagt, auf uns zukommt, habe ich keine Ahnung, ich weiß es nicht. Ich weiß auch nicht, wie lange das dauert. Wir sind jedenfalls dabei. So. Ja, wichtig halt in Deutschland ist, dass es euch gut geht, dass ihr eure Bratwürste habt und euer Bier. Und alles andere scheint in Deutschland nicht mehr interessant zu sein. So wie ich das jetzt aus der Ferne sehe. Wir haben euch eine Rallye live übertragen. Da sind noch nicht mal 2000 Leute da gewesen. Früher hatten wir 30.000. Das ist natürlich schon interessant. Wenn man sich überlegt, dass Donald Trump mit großer Wahrscheinlichkeit der nächste Präsident der Vereinigten Staaten wird. Und die Medien haben alles im Griff. Ich bin mal gespannt, wie das wird, wenn Trump im Weißen Haus wieder ist. Was die dann machen, um ihn auszuschalten. Wir leben in wirklich sehr, sehr merkwürdigen Zeiten. Das ist auf jeden Fall klar. Wir sehen jetzt gerade, Brian Glenn ist hier auch in New York. Was wir jetzt hier hören, soweit ich das mitverfolgen kann, hier ist, es werden heute Geschworene ausgewählt. Also das Ganze wird dauern, der Prozess kann sich hinziehen. Das ist der Prozess, auf den die New Yorker Staatsanwälte setzen, dass Donald Trump schuldig gesprochen wird. Und das ist wahrscheinlich der einzige Prozess, wo sie ihn sofort schuldig sprechen, auch beim Auswählen der Geschworenen. Alan Dershowitz sagt, ein Republikaner kann in New York keine faire Jury bekommen, also keinen fairen Geschworenensatz. 12 Geschworene wird man nicht bekommen, die fair sind, die nicht voreingenommen sind gegen Donald Trump. Er hat darüber ein Buch geschrieben und er hat das bereits schon vor langer Zeit gesagt. Get Trump, also Jagd Trump, heißt sein letztes Buch. Und er ist kein Republikaner, er ist ein Demokrat. Und er sagt, was man mit Trump macht, das ist das ist die Epitome der Ungerechtigkeit und das ist ein Missbrauch der Justiz der Vereinigten Staaten, vor allen Dingen in New York, denn in New York kann man auch ein Schinkensandwich anklagen und für schuldig befinden. Das sind Worte aus dem Mund von Alan Dershowitz. In New York kann man ein Schinkensandwich anklagen und es für schuldig befinden. So leicht ist das in New York, einen Republikaner oder einen Konservativen anzuklagen. Wenn man sich das dann so alles mal auf der Zunge zergehen lässt, ja, Donald Trump wird übrigens aussagen, er hat sich bereit erklärt auszusagen bei diesem Gerichtsprozess. Also Montag und Dienstags und Donnerstag, 3 Tage in der Woche wird hier verhandelt. Wie lange, weiß kein Mensch. Experten, die sich auskennen, also wirklich seriöse Juristen, sagen durch die Bank, dass dieser Fall am Ende vom obersten Gerichtshof entschieden wird. Hier wird nichts Faires bei rauskommen in New York. Kein einziger seriöser Jurist hat da etwas Gegenteiliges behauptet. Und es ist allen klar, dass hier der oberste Gerichtshof eingreifen wird am Ende und wird dort darüber entscheiden, ob es hier einen Schuldspruch gibt oder nicht. Alle anderen Instanzen, von denen weiß man schon, dass die, solange das im Staat von New York abläuft, total voreingenommen vorgehen. Dafür hat die Presse gesorgt schon in den letzten Jahren und die Stimmungsmache im ganzen Staat von New York ist so vergiftet, dass hier niemand, der konservativ ist und vor Gericht zerrt wird, eine Chance hat, ein gerechtes Urteil zu bekommen. Es geht auch darum, hier, dass sein ehemaliger Rechtsanwalt Michael Cohen, der für ihn gearbeitet hat und der komplett vergiftet ist, der ja ins Gefängnis musste, weil er gelogen hat vor dem Kongress. Ich meine, er ist ja so ein schlechter, dummer Anwalt, dass er sich selber so in die Bredouille gebracht hat, dass er ins Gefängnis musste. Und das ist ein Rachefeldzug von ihm, der jetzt aus dem Gefängnis rausgekommen ist und jetzt zum Kronzeugen wird gegen Donald Trump. Also man muss sich vorstellen, jemand, der verurteilt wurde, der im Gefängnis gesessen hat, weil er den Kongress belogen hat, wird jetzt zum Kronzeugen der Anklage. Und man schlachtet das natürlich total aus. Schaut euch mal an hier, was hier an Kameras draußen steht, was hier an Medien da ist. Das ist jetzt der letzte Versuch, Donald Trump aus dem Rennen zu bringen. Und wenn das nicht passiert, und es wird auch nicht passieren, davon sind wir überzeugt, sie werden Donald Trump nicht aus dem Rennen des Kandidaten ausschalten, weil er sich nicht ausschalten lässt. Und was wird dann als nächstes passieren? Ich sage euch jetzt schon, Joe Biden wird nicht gegen Donald Trump antreten. Weil nämlich jetzt andere Medien auch schon fordern, dass es eine Debatte geben soll, eine öffentliche Debatte zwischen Donald Trump und Joe Biden. Und diese Debatte, das wissen wir, wird Joe Biden nicht überstehen. Er wird sie überstehen, indem er lebt, ja, also ja, das meine ich jetzt nicht, aber er wird sie nicht gewinnen, diese Debatte. Also er wird sie nicht so überstehen, dass man sagen kann, der Mann ist qualifiziert, um gegen Donald Trump anzustehen. Hier kommt noch eine Überraschung, von der ich überzeugt bin, denn niemand kann so verrückt und so dumm sein, eine Figur wie Joe Biden nochmal für 4 Jahre ins Weiße Haus holen zu wollen. Jeder weiß, wenn sie das tun, dann wird er nach den ersten 6 Monaten das Amt an Harris übergeben und dann ist die Welt in den Händen der Diktatur. So, meine Lieben, so viel einfach nur zu dem, wir von unserem Kanal von TranslatedPress leiden unter großen Mangel an Finanzen, um diesen Kanal aufrechtzuerhalten. Und es kommt jetzt in die Phase, wo es prekär wird. Und wir sind hier aus Überzeugung. Denn ansonsten kann man das hier nicht durchstehen. Wenn ihr einen Kreuzer übrig habt, dann gebe ich euch jetzt hier mal eine Adresse, wo ihr zeigen könnt, dass ihr diesen Kanal schätzt. Die Wertschätzung für diesen Kanal ist einfach nicht groß genug, um ihn aufrechtzuerhalten. Das ist leider die Wahrheit. Wir werden zensiert von Google und von YouTube, wo es nur geht. Wir haben keine Monetarisierung. Also gebt euch einen Ruck hier, wenn ihr wollt, dass wir das jetzt hier weiter übertragen in der Zukunft bis zum 5. November, dann geht es ohne eure Hilfe sicherlich nicht. Ihr könnt auch hier mit eurer Kreditkarte spenden. Das geht auch. Ich kann das gar nicht aktivieren, die haben uns da auch ausgeschaltet. Wir können die Monetarisierung hier überhaupt nicht aktivieren, das ist nicht möglich. Also so geht man jetzt schon vor gegen unseren Kanal hier, nur damit ihr es mal wisst, ja. Ich werde euch noch ein Video darüber machen. Also ich will mal sehen, ob ich da hier ein Video drüber machen kann. Ich will mal mein Handy dazu holen, damit ihr mal seht, in welcher Lage wir uns befinden, unter welchen Umständen und Opfern wir das Ganze hier übertragen.
So, well, just to kind of warn you on that, there's some characters that we were often talking about who shows up to these protests, and this is one of the things that I think that we do as a network. Obviously, we cover all the events around President Trump. We also cover, you know, the protesters. I want to exactly see, you know, why these people dislike the president and why they're here, and perhaps we can even give them some information. Perhaps they can change their mind. But I call them a cast of characters, and these are people that, in my opinion, are almost paid to show up to events like this and cause havoc. So you're going to see some stuff, you're going to hear some stuff that you're likely going to offend you, but I'm just going to warn you up top. Let's talk about taxes. Today is April 15th. Today is tax day, and so today is a day that everyone either file your taxes or you can ask for an extension. But if you owe back taxes, there is someone that can help on that. Tax Network USA. Tax Network USA. Go check it out. Today's a big day. The information is on your screen. Doesn't matter if you haven't paid your taxes in 1 year, 2 years, 10 years, or that amount is 1,000, 10,000, 100,000. They can simply help you out on that. Tax Network USA. Go check it out. Information on your screen. They are trusted. They can help get you away from that anxiety of owing back taxes. Tax Network USA. Okay, so as far as getting inside this particular area, it's going to require us to kind of walk around this bike rack and come in. So just to let you guys know that it might, as we transition, we might have the camera might be compromised at a couple times just getting through there. But we're going to go and continue to walk on by here. But this trial has been obviously, the last, couple of months, when you look at the nonstop, not only this one, but all the documents trial. You've got the Mar-a-Lago, kind of the Mar-a-Lago trial and the real estate case as well. Like, all of these have been in hopes of being a major distractor for the president off the campaign trail. But in fact, what I have found, and what it is almost, for the most part, provable, that his popularity has increased, his polling is gone up, his campaign donations have increased. So if anything, this has been an outlet that President Trump has been able to, I wouldn't say campaign off of, but has been able to help him with the narrative of how he's being targeted by the FBI, the DOJ, and then some of the district attorneys here in New York. Okay, so here, the courthouse is right there, right in front of us, state of New York. And of course, this associate, the court's buildings and things are aside. I do see, I don't know if we can get a good shot of that. Let's see if we can walk over here, Joe. I think we might have an opportunity to get a shot. Okay. Get right over there. The pen. We've been told we got to move.
So, meine Lieben, ich will noch mal ein bisschen zurückkommen und mal sehen, ob wir hier einiges verwerten können. Ja, meine Lieben, es ändert sich nichts hier. Das Einzige, was sich hier ändert, es ändert sich was, ist nämlich, dass jede Woche die Prognosen besser werden für Donald Trump. Schaut euch mal diese Menge von Kameras an. Das ist unglaublich, diese lange Meile hier. Nur Kameras neben Kameras neben Kameras. Das zeigt euch, dass die Medien sich komplett darauf konzentriert haben, dass Donald Trump verklagt wird, nicht verklagt wird, sondern schuldig gesprochen wird. Schaut mal, wie lange das geht. Man will Donald Trump gebrochen sehen und zurücktreten sehen. Darum geht's. Und umso mehr die Medien sich darauf konzentrieren, Donald Trump schlecht zu machen, umso mehr Anklagen er bekommt, umso besser steigen seine Umfragewerte. Seine Umfragewerte schießen im Moment durch die Decke. Und man versucht es zu ignorieren. Wenn man aber genau hinsieht, dann sieht man, dass selbst die Feinde, die Leute, die wie Washington Post zum Beispiel oder New York Times, die Donald Trump bekämpfen seit Jahren, wo sie können, die können jetzt auch nicht mehr zurückhalten und vertuschen, dass die Umfragewerte weit vorne liegen, auch vor Joe Biden. Und die Kluft zwischen Biden und Trump als Kandidat, die wird immer größer. Die Menschen sind auf der Straße hier und sie sehen das Auto von Donald Trump vorbeifahren und sie rufen, wir lieben dich, we love you. Gebt nicht auf. Und es ist einfach unglaublich. Und dann hören wir auf der Schlagzeile von der Tagesschau, Trump steht vor Gericht wegen Betrug. Das heißt also, wir haben hier ganz eindeutig die Presse in der Mitte, die so viel Schmutz wie möglich rausschmeißt gegen Trump. Dann haben wir die politische Gegenseite, die den politischen Gegner, nämlich Donald Trump, aus dem Weg räumen will. Und dieser Klang geht bis nach Europa. Eine Frau Strack-Zimmermann sagt, man ist ein Träumer, ein Traumtänzer, wenn man daran glaubt, dass Donald Trump diese Wahl gewinnt. Also entweder sie ist uninformiert oder sie ist die Traumtänzerin, eins von beiden. Aber wenn man die Daten sieht, die sie jetzt versuchen zu unterdrücken, aber man kann sie ja jetzt auch finden, weil man sie nicht mehr unterdrücken kann. Nur sie werden nicht so viel publiziert, aber wenn man sie sucht, findet man sie. Ja, vor 2 Jahren konnte man sie nicht finden. Aber jetzt findet man sie überall, wenn man sie sucht. Positives wird nichts über Trump von der Mainstream-Presse auf der ganzen Welt verbreitet. Da hat sich die Presse damit abgesprochen. So, das ganze Ding ist dann im Schatten des Angriffs der Drohnen von Iran nach Israel. Der ganze Hass auf der Welt, die Spaltung, es macht einen sehr, sehr müde. Das ist auch der Grund, warum ich einen neuen positiven Kanal gegründet habe, meine Lieben, der uns aus diesen Sachen heraushält. Denn wenn man so wie wir ununterbrochen seit Jahren an vorderster Front steht und kämpft für die Gerechtigkeit und aber nicht sieht, dass es geschätzt wird, dann hat man natürlich irgendwann mal keine Munition mehr, um weiterzumachen. Wir sind jetzt hier, weil wir der Geschichte Gerechtigkeit antun wollen. Ich kann euch nicht versprechen, ob wir das durchhalten bis November. Das sage ich euch jetzt gleich. Es wird wahrscheinlich nicht sehr viel passieren heute Morgen. Und ich gehe mal davon aus, dass Donald Trump in der Pause erscheint. Und es wird diese Kurznachrichten geben von innen. Soweit ich weiß, sind die Kameras nicht erlaubt. Auch schade. Also ich werde das jetzt hier nicht stundenlang durchziehen, meine Lieben, weil die Zeit habe ich nicht dazu. Ich muss auch ums Überleben kämpfen. Und dazu muss ich etwas arbeiten. Aber wir wollen mal sehen, wie lange das hier durchgeht. Ich glaube nicht sehr lange. Was Brian Glenn uns hier erzählt, ist im Prinzip alles, was zur Unterhaltung der Leute gilt. Aber wir wollen ja Fakten haben, wir wollen ja wissen, was abgeht und wir wollen vor allen Dingen hören, was Donald Trump zu sagen hat. Das ist erstmal sehr wichtig. Ihr müsst euch mal vorstellen, am Samstag hatten wir eine Rallye mit 42.000 Leute, die dort anwesend waren. Und hier bei uns haben das noch nicht mal 2.000 Leute angeguckt. So. Das heißt, das Interesse schwindet vollkommen an den Trump-Rallies. Also die Unterstützung von Donald Trump ist offensichtlich da. Ich kann es immer noch wiederholen. Jeder Bundesstaat im Moment liegt Donald Trump vorne, was die Wahlprognosen anbetrifft. Und man sieht ja, dass jetzt das hier ist der letzte Weg, die letzte Chance, Donald Trump aus der Kampagne zu ziehen. Weil er hier mit großer Sicherheit schuldig gesprochen wird. Das ist alles schon vorauszusehen. Sag nicht ich, das sagen wichtige, seriöse Juristen. Und das ist die letzte Chance, Donald Trump aus dem Verkehr zu ziehen für die Wahl. Allerdings geht das nur dann, wenn der oberste Gerichtshof auch den Schuldspruch anerkennt. Wenn nicht, dann ist auch das verloren gegangen. Aber in der Zwischenzeit ist Trump ja als wirklich sehr starker Kandidat der Republikaner hier im Rennen. Und wir sind zuversichtlich, egal wie schwer das jetzt wird hier und wie kompliziert, wir sind zuversichtlich, dass Donald Trump auch das übersteht. Man muss sich mal vorstellen, was hier alles in Bewegung gesetzt wird, um den gefährlichsten Kandidaten, dem gefährlichsten politischen Gegner aus dem Verkehr zu ziehen. So. So, Brian Glenn sagt, hier kann man nichts sehen außer den Medien, die hier eine ganze Meile lang nebeneinander stehen. Also Medien aus der ganzen Welt, in der Hoffnung, dass Donald Trump hier so richtig zerlegt wird. Ich glaube, Brian Glenn versucht jetzt gerade Leute zu finden aus dem Publikum, die etwas dazu sagen. Hier muss er vorsichtig sein, denn hier gibt es sehr gefährliche Trump-Gegner, die sehr bösartig werden und auch sehr schlecht drauf sind, wenn Trump erwähnt wird. Ja, also er sagt, es gibt hier zwei Seiten, die Trump beschimpfen und das ist hier, das sind die Übertragungswegen, die Übertragungsauto von den verschiedenen Medien, die hier meilenlang die Kabel da über den Park, also hier schaut man, das ist eine große Geschichte, das ist ein großes Ding hier. Man sieht das jetzt hier, das ist etwas... Ja, er fragt ihn jetzt, was ist es hier in New York zu leben und ein Unterstützer von Donald Trump zu sein? Und ich bin ein Musiker, ich bin ein Singer und ich bin ein christlich-konservativer. Und ich unterstütze Donald Trump seit langem, selbst zu Zeiten, wo ich noch anderer Meinung war, aber er ist, egal was man will, er ist der beste Kandidat für die Vereinigten Staaten. Er ist zuverlässig, er ist total zuverlässig. Wir haben mehr Unterstützer, als wir Trump-Hasser haben, obwohl wir in New York sind. Die Menschen fangen an zu verstehen, um was es geht. Und da ist unglaublich viel Unterstützung für Donald Trump. Die Menschen sind optimistisch, wenn sie Donald Trump sehen, sie vertrauen ihm. Die schweigende Mehrheit. Und es gibt tatsächlich viel mehr Trump-Unterstützer, als man glaubt. Es gibt viele Menschen, die trauen sich nicht den Mund aufzumachen, aber innerlich sind sie die schweigende Mehrheit, die Donald Trump zurück will und auch unterstützt. Denn sie sehen die Realität, sie sehen die Umstände, in denen sie leben. Und es kann noch schlimmer werden, wenn wir nichts tun, wenn wir keine Änderung hier verursachen. Das Interessante daran ist, dass die Person, die am meisten betroffen ist, sagt, dass es nicht so ist. Also es ist tatsächlich so, dass die Person, nämlich Michael Cohen, ich will es nochmal wiederholen, der Kronzeuge ist für die Anklage, nachdem er aus dem Gefängnis gekommen ist und selber verurteilt wurde und jetzt als Hauptkronzeuge in dieser Anklage wirkt. Und man will mit seiner Aussage bewirken, dass ein Geschworene, ein Ausschuss von Geschworenen Donald Trump für schuldig erklärt. Darum geht es jetzt. Also, wie gesagt, wir hören jetzt weiter nicht sehr viel, sehen hier weiter nicht sehr viel. New York ist ja ein Staat, der sehr liberal ist. Ja. Ist also linksliberal, kann man vollkommen sagen. Ja. Donald Trump sagt ja, es sind Faschisten in New York. Wir haben gerade eine neue Spende bekommen von 17 Euro, 17, vielen lieben Dank. Diese Spenden sind wichtig für uns, damit wir diesen Kanal weiter betreiben können. Denn wir sind komplett desmonetarisiert. Man hat uns jegliche Monetarisierung gesperrt für unsere Arbeit. aus Hass gegen Donald Trump. Und das kommt von Google und von YouTube. So, wer uns auch jetzt diese letzten 17 Euro geschickt hat, wir sind für jeden Euro dankbar. Vielen, vielen herzlichen Dank für eure Hilfe. Ihr könnt ja jetzt über YouTube auch keine Zahlungen mehr machen. Das hat man uns ja auch gestoppt. Weiß nicht, ob ihr das mitbekommen habt. Ich bin nicht mehr zufrieden, wie wir in unserem Land leben, die Umstände. Jemand, der an der Macht ist, verfolgt seinen politischen Herausforderer. Ich bin so beeindruckt von den schlechten Umständen und von den ganzen Problemen, die wir in diesem Land haben, die von dieser momentanen Regierung ausgelöst wurde, dass ich meine eigene Nachrichtenstation gegründet habe. Das hat mich motiviert, denn es ist keine Kontrolle mehr. Sie haben die Kontrolle verloren im Weißen Haus. Wir haben offensichtliche Wahlintervention und es macht mich krank. Die Menschen in meiner Generation, statt sich der Politik zu widmen, widmen sich der kulturellen Revolution, der Genderrevolution. Was haben die eigentlich im Kopf? Egal wie man zu Trump steht, man kann aber nicht anstreiten, dass zu seiner Zeit es dem Land viel besser ging. Und zum ersten Mal haben wir jetzt die Zahlen, wir haben die Statistiken, die uns zeigen, wie es uns gegangen ist während der Zeit von Donald Trump. Und man muss nur einen gesunden Menschenverstand haben, um zu verstehen, was gut ist und was schlecht ist. Dazu braucht man nicht mehr als gesunden Menschenverstand. Er macht seine Entscheidungen mit gesundem Menschenverstand und das erkennen die Leute jetzt mehr und mehr jeden Tag. Dankeschön. Dankeschön. Wie geht's euch? Wie geht's euch? Sie sind im Park heute. Sie unterstützen offensichtlich Donald Trump. Was bedeutet Ihnen das? Es ist wie die Nadel im Heuhaufen. Es gibt sie, aber man muss außerhalb der Stadt gehen, in Long Island, in Staten Island. Ihr wisst es. Wenn er eine Affäre gehabt hat, es ist alles ordentlich zugegangen. Um was geht es? Selbst die Frau Die Frau hat sogar abgestritten, dass es eine Affäre gegeben hat. Ich will euch nochmal darauf hinweisen, um was es geht. Es geht darum, dass Donald Trump angeblich einer Prostituierten, Stormy Daniels, ein Schweigegeld hat zukommen lassen, und der Kronzeuge in diesem Fall ist ein verurteilter Anwalt, der den Kongress belogen hat und dafür für diese lügenhafte Aussage ins Gefängnis gekommen ist. Jetzt, nachdem er aus dem Gefängnis gekommen ist, übt er Rache an Donald Trump und wird von der Staatsanwaltschaft in New York als Kronzeuge angeführt in diesem Prozess. Es soll jetzt ein Geschworenenprozess werden, bei dem die 12 Geschworenen entscheiden, ob Donald Trump schuldig ist oder nicht. Heute wird wenn Donald Trump auf eine Insekte, wenn er eine Mücke tottritt, dann wird Letitia James sagen, er hat Mord begangen. Das hat die Frau gerade gesagt. Wenn Donald Trump eine Kakerlake tottritt, sagt sie, dann wird Letitia James sagen, er hat einen Mord begangen. Also, das hier ist jetzt so ein bisschen die Befragung. Natürlich wird Brian Glenn jetzt auch die Leute befragen, die für Donald Trump sind, die Trump-Gegner, soweit wir wissen. Die sind ja zum Teil sehr gefährlich in New York. Sie werden ausfällig, sie benutzen fürchterliches Vokabular, Schimpfwörter, was es alles so gibt. Und da hat es sogar schon Schlägereien gegeben, und Brian Glenn hält sich natürlich da fern, das ist ganz klar. So, jetzt machen die natürlich Reklame und alles, und RSBN benutzt das natürlich auch für Spenden. Das ist ganz klar, sie auch verständlich, denn das ist ein großer Kanal, der von Spenden lebt. Und dort funktioniert das mit den Spenden auch. Ja. So, wie gesagt, ich will das jetzt nochmal bewusst fokussieren, auch weil wir gerade von Spenden reden. Wir haben übrigens schon einige von diesen Kanälen abgestuft, wo wir also bezahlen müssen. Das haben wir alles geschlossen. Wir haben jetzt keine Kanäle mehr, wo wir bezahlen müssen. Das können wir uns nicht mehr leisten. Das haben wir jetzt, deswegen haben wir auch solche Probleme jetzt bei Rumble, und die Leute kommen nicht mehr in den Chat, weil wir kein Programm mehr jetzt bei Rumble haben, das uns 500 und 600 Euro im Monat kostet. Das konnten wir uns nicht mehr leisten, das haben wir abgeschafft, und jetzt können die meisten Leute gar nicht mehr in den Chat kommen, weil sie nicht angemeldet sind und so weiter. Das ist einfach, aber leider ist das halt so. Ich will mal den Originalton ein bisschen lauter machen, weil ich weiß nicht, wie viele Stunden das Ganze dauert.
Because through the years, through the 30, 40 years that I've been in and out of Manhattan, as far as I can remember, it's never been like this. I mean, probably David Dickens was the last time the city was so bad.
Yeah. Let's talk about how Trump is growing his base in these inner cities because of that. They see what the open border has done. I notice a lot of immigrants on street corners, a lot of Latino immigrants, and people from Africa, to look like, from various regions in Africa. Tell me your experience with that.
I've seen it. I've seen a lot of it. Truthfully, they're coming not only through our borders, but they're being, channeled through NGOs, a lot of them, through Panama, and they're coming up through our borders, and it's not just Mexico. It's all over the world. Vote America's I and vote for.
I was going to say that
inflation,
like housing is insane here.
untouchable. Everyone's moving out of New York.
I was gonna say commercial real estate's even opening up. I saw a lot of
retail space available. There's really nothing available. Here, that's for sure.
Let's talk crime for a second. Obviously, I didn't feel threatened yesterday, but that's a Sunday morning, a little different. What's your experience with violent crime on the streets?
Violent crime, I've been blessed where I haven't seen anything violent occur, but I've seen where there's a lot of agitators and people that test the system, especially on the subway. You see a lot of that. They know that they can get away with it. They'll get a slap on the wrist. They'll go through the system and be out on the street within 24, 48 hours. It's such a shame. People.
I jumped on the subway yesterday. I told a friend that I read the subway, and they were like, "You rode the subway?" I'm like, "Actually, it wasn't bad on a Sunday morning. Coming from Wall Street too, it wasn't bad."
There's certain lines that are not bad, but you always have to be careful. You have to be educated. Knowledge is key. You got to know where you're going.
All right, can President Trump find a jury of his peers here in New York?
Here. No way. No way. 45, 40, I don't know, 50 somewhat questions that basically are not, asking you who are you going to vote for, but you can literally tell who you're going to vote for by those answers. It's ridiculous.
So what happens if you go through these 500 people that they have, you can't find 12? Yeah. I mean, I don't know if those 12 people exist in this city.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe you and some other people, but I mean, obviously.
You can cherry pick a few of them from here. Then again, people will answer the questions they want to answer it, but then when they get on the jury, they might vote differently. Yeah. So, those answers really are not going to be the best way to get the right people on the jury. So.
Well, we appreciate you guys
Absolutely.
right now. Thank you so much. Thanks for your time today. I appreciate it. God bless, and let's just hope the very best works out here for the president.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you. All right. Thank you, Trump 2024. Good to see you. How are you?
See you. How are you doing?
I'm going to give you a little hug. We're live on the air right now. Tell me your experiences out here so far.
So far, it's good. It's always good to rally with Trump supporters, even
in the inner cities in New York.
Absolutely. Yeah. The irony that this is a hush money case, but they have a gag order on the president. It's difficult to get your brain around.
Yeah, when you look at some of the facts around this hush money case, and they're, a lot of them, they tend to lean the other way, and there's plus the statute of limitations that expired. I don't know why this even thing's underway.
It's underway because they're trying to keep President Trump from rallying because we see the force that he is, but it doesn't matter. We see time and time again, every single time they go after him, he rises in the polls, and I personally believe that God's hand is on him, and this is all going to turn out good.
Yeah, it's all going to turn out good. All right, let's take a look at the crowd here. We're going to toss to Vanessa Broussard here in just a second, that's in front of Trump Tower. Let her get ready position for that. But hang on just 1 second, sweetheart. Of course you can. We'll talk to you in just a second. There you go. So you can see that's the status here. Well, I'll toss it over to Vanessa Broussard, who's in front of Trump Tower, to see if there's any latest developments there. Vanessa, what are you seeing?
Business as usual here over on 5th Avenue in front of Trump Tower. You see a lot of people on their morning jog, a lot of people riding their bicycles, even families out riding their bikes this morning. It's a beautiful day to do so. I've seen numerous people walking to work in business suits. When Trump left this morning, you saw a lot of supporters out here hoping to get a glimpse of President Trump, in which they did. He did make a wave to his supporters and actually over to us here at Right Side Broadcasting Network as well. So we did get a few waves from the president as he exited Trump Tower. But again, it's business as usual. Just to give you an idea, I'm going to step to the side. This is Trump Tower right behind me. Now, this is where Trump has a residency. This is a location of businesses, apartments, and of course his home as well. Now, he does live at Mar-a-Lago now, but before he did reside here at Trump Tower. This is where he will likely be staying over the course of the next 6 to 8 weeks during the trial. Now, Bedminster, his other home in New Jersey, is just about an hour away, but this makes sense for President Trump to stay here. He can meet with his attorneys. He can be closer to the courthouse, about 20 minutes away, about a 20-minute drive, as you saw this morning. But it makes sense for him to be here at Trump Tower. Now, security is tight here today, especially when President Trump was located inside the building. He exited, and then we saw some New York police officers exit as well. But as you can see, if we can pan and look around at different locations, you do have police officers still manning the corners of Trump Tower. They have opened up some of the barricades to get some of these people walking through on their daily routines. But like I said, it's just a typical day now here that President Trump has left the building and is now in court. But you also see some NYPD patrol units parked outside Trump Tower. So a lot of security still on hand. We can assume they're inside as well. Now, I did come to Trump Tower in 2016, when President Trump won the election in 2016, in that November, I actually visited and came to Trump Tower in December of that same year, and you had to go through mags, what they use at his rallies, what you go through in an airport for security. Do they have those in there today? I'm just not sure, but you can only imagine that there's still tourists going inside to either shop at one of his shops inside, or also to the bakery or to Trump Cafe to have lunch or even dinner. They will make sure that security is tight. We have not been inside just yet, but I can't confirm if there are those extra security measures in place today regarding the mags, but you know that there's plenty of Secret Service and police officers here from New York as well. We did have a bunch of people standing by, tourists watching President Trump come out this morning. A lot of people didn't even know what was going on. They saw all of the media here waiting for the president, asked us what's going on. We told them, and instead of going to their tourist attraction that they were headed to, they stopped and waited. They showed their children President Trump, and they say this is a day in history, and we'll definitely mark this into our vacation guide so we can remember that we saw President Trump on our vacation. Also, a lot of people from overseas as well. As we pause real quick before we go into, I want to read you some Truth Social posts from the president late last night and early this morning. I want to remind you about Angel Paste. This is great for women and men. They're based out of Spring, Texas, just outside of Houston, and it will do wonders for your skin. It will make you feel younger, look younger, hide some of those age spots, even some scars if you have any. So go online and definitely check them out. They get rave reviews. Everything is sourced in the United States of America, and they're big with supporting veterans. They make sure that they hire veterans, so even more reason to support this great America First small business. They stick to that policy, again, hiring veterans. It's unlike any other cream you'll find on the market. Zero chemicals. It hydrates your skin without that greasy feeling. We never like that feeling on our skin. Many customers have reported younger looking skin, again, fewer wrinkles, hiding age spots, healing burns and bruises. Summer is coming, so if you just so happen to forget your tan lotion and you get burned, this is where that cream will come in handy. Get the miracle cream everyone's talking about. That's Angel Paste Miracle Cream. Your skin will love it, and it will thank you for it. Use the promo code to get 10% off your order today. That's angelpaste.com. Again, angelpaste.com. The code is RSBN. Get a discount today on your order. All right, so President Trump, as you know, we talk about it all the time. Does he ever sleep? We think that he rarely does because he is a busy man. Well, he was up late last night posting on his Truth Social account about today's trial and what's taking place today in New York City. And I want to read off to you. This one came in late last night. He posted this. Just 4 years ago, I was a very popular and successful president of the United States, getting more votes than any sitting president in history. Tomorrow morning, which is today, I'll be in criminal court before a totally conflicted judge, a corrupt prosecutor, a legal system in chaos, a state being overrun by violent crime and corruption, and crooked Joe Biden's henchmen rigging the system against his political opponent. Me, he says. I will be fighting for myself, but much more importantly, I will be fighting for our country. Election interference like this has never happened in the USA before, and hopefully will never happen again, he says. We are now a nation in serious decline, a failing nation, but we will soon be a great nation again. November 5th will be the most important day in the history of the United States. We will see you tomorrow, MAGA 2024. Again, this was last night. Then he also posted yesterday, Judge Juan Merchan, perhaps the most highly conflicted judge in New York State history, only gave us a short period of time to read and study hundreds of thousands of pages of documents that DA Alvin Bragg illegally hid, disguised, and held back from us. Now, of course, he says, and as the judge knows, we need far more time than that. They could have started this fake Biden trial many years ago, not right in the middle of my campaign for president, and time would not be a problem. This is a blatant and unprecedented attack on crooked Joe Biden's political opponent, who is leading in every poll, done in close coordination with the White House, that cannot be allowed to go forward. Then this morning, he was up bright and early at 5:39 a.m. this morning. President Trump posts this on Truth Social, as virtually every legal scholar has powerfully stated the Biden Manhattan witch hunt case is, among other things, barred by the statute of limitations. This trial which he put in quotes, should be ended by the highly conflicted presiding judge. And then right thereafter at 5:51 this morning, President Trump still posting on Truth Social. The radical left Democrats are already cheating on the 2024 presidential election by bringing or helping to bring all of these bogus lawsuits against me, thereby forcing me to sit in courthouses and spend money that could be used for campaigning instead of being out in the field knocking crooked Joe Biden, the worst president in the history of the United States. Election interference, he says. So as you can see, President Trump, even though he's under a gag order not to really talk about details in the case, it's not that he denied the gag order, but he can still speak about the case, just not give details about the case, is very obviously inclined to say that this is election interference and that they are definitely trying to keep him off the campaign trail, which they are doing so. He will be in court here in Manhattan for at least 8 weeks. Jury selection could take several days, if not several weeks, just for that process. And by the time you get to all of the testimony, we're going to hear from Michael Cohen. We're going to hear from Stormy Daniels. We are not told yet if President Trump will take the stand, but it's going to be a long process in front of those 12 jurors, whoever they may be. They will begin selecting those any minute now inside the courthouse. That's where Brian Glenn is. And then they'll have 6 alternates as well. But like we've been mentioning, it's very important here in New York City to remind you that in Manhattan, you have to be a Manhattan resident to serve on the jury in this case. You have to speak English. They will ask you if you follow President Trump on social media, and they'll have a list of about 40 other questions, a questionnaire for all of these potential jurors that could decide whether they sit in the jury box or they are let go today. But several hundred people are there. They were summoned to arrive there at 9 o'clock this morning to potentially be picked to sit on the jury in this high-profile case. Now, again, President Trump has been under a gag order right in the middle of his election, and as he campaigns across the country, he has stated on Truth Social, how can the other side, the left, how can they say what they want about the case, but I am not able to do so? Is this a reflection of his First Amendment rights and taking away his First Amendment rights to freedom of speech? Now, if they appealed the gag order, by the time the appeal would take place, it would be after the trial started. So the gag order was put in place right before this trial, so not giving the Trump attorneys much time to make an appeal on that specific decision because it wouldn't give them enough time for the gag order to be lifted before trial started. So he's been told to be quiet, but again, as President Trump has stated multiple times, it's very unfair that Biden and his crooked administration and also the left, they're able to say what they want, but he is under a gag order. But it's great to see and hear all of these supporters out there for President Trump. And taking a look back, yes, you have those protesters who will be there. But at the same time, there's a shift I'm seeing just from Brian reporting out there today. A lot of supporters in New York City and Manhattan and also the Bronx, as some of these residents are saying here today, they love President Trump. They see what's going on in this city. They see the crime. They see the influx of illegal immigrants being flooded into their city, and they've had enough. This is not the same New York City that we used to all love. In fact, just moments ago, I saw a van pass by that said, I heart NY. You know that iconic slogan. It's the heart symbol, I heart NY. And I thought to myself, I used to love New York City. I want to still love New York City. But when you know there's so much corruption in the leadership of New York City, this is a hard place to love. And before, if someone told me, Vanessa, you're going to New York City, I would jump up and down excited. But I wasn't excited for this trip because this is not a good trip. This is an unfair trip, and we should not be here today. This trial should not be taking place today. So New York City has some cleaning up to do, not just in the streets, but all the way up to the top too. And that's what their Democrat-run leaders that they have chosen to put in office. So hopefully we'll see a change in the future. Hopefully the people of New York will wake up, because this just isn't fair. Now, again, I'm going to step to the side. You can see people walking. You can see people on their way to work. They're touring. They have their fanny packs on. And I want to show you a picture I took earlier. You have a woman waving. A truck passing by. This truck is a MAGA truck saying, "In God We Trust." You could hear music blaring from the speakers maybe 2 to 3 blocks away as it made its way with its flags flying in the breeze in front of Trump Tower. And it was great to see this. But it was also great to hear the song that they were playing was "Trump Saved the USA." If you have not heard that song, you should go download it now. Check it out on YouTube. It's from an artist who is very familiar, a familiar face to you all here on Right Side Broadcasting Network. It's Forgiato Blow, who has been very vocal about his music. He's a conservative Trump patriot who turned from the regular rap scene that we all know, where rappers sing about women and cars and drugs. He now sings and raps about President Trump and saving this country, and his music has taken off. It's just blown up on iTunes, and he has the Trump Latinos who have come on, and they have music as well. And those artists are really making a movement in the conservative industry. It's like a conservative rap, and they are pro-Trump. So go check them out. That's what this truck was driving by, blaring today. It was good to see. You still have people coming in to Trump Tower as you look at just the normal everyday traffic, taxis and buses here on Fifth Avenue, and people walking into Trump Tower as we hit mid-morning here in New York City. Look, the poll numbers are looking really good for President Trump. The more he's attacked, the higher his poll numbers go. Now, right after Super Tuesday, Decision Desk did an exit poll on what people thought in America was the main concern here in the United States. Now, just like the man was saying that Brian was interviewing earlier, there is more concern about what Lizzo's doing and what Kim Kardashian is doing and what Taylor Swift is doing. We should be focusing on the real issues of this country. And so when Americans were asked in this Decision Desk exit poll after Super Tuesday, what's their number one concern? Republican voters said 44% immigration. That was the number one concern with them. And that is a problem here in New York City. You've heard from some of the supporters there at the courthouse. They are seeing that here in New York City. So you're no longer a victim of these illegal aliens coming into your city if you live up north. It used to be the southern states, but they're all over the country now. And you've seen that these Democrat-run cities don't like that they're being bussed here. They want that open border, but they're saying don't bring them to our city. And it's been known that the New York City mayor has had to contact Biden administration and the federal government for more resources because of the influx of illegal aliens here in New York City. They're getting free housing. They're staying in these nice hotels that you see behind me and these high rises. How beautiful and how nice that would be to stay for free, right? Well, if you're an illegal alien, New York City says, we'll take you, but wait a minute, we can't really afford that. So let's see if Biden can give us some money so we can continue to give them everything they want for free. So they're here. They're on the streets among us. They're right here in New York City, and chances are they're in your hometown as well. So 44% in that exit poll said that illegal immigration is the number one concern with them. Coming in at number two at 28% was the economy. People can't afford to live. They can't buy groceries. They can't buy gasoline. They can't do extracurriculars with their children. They can't go out to eat as a family. They just can't afford it. And you know, I was thinking earlier when Brian was talking about the economy over at the courthouse, I was looking around at these high rises around me, and this is, they call it a concrete jungle, because this is all concrete around here. You see no greenery unless you go to the park, which is right around the corner. Beautiful park. Central Park. But these are all, if they're not businesses, they're apartments. New York City is Manhattan. These are apartments. Very rarely do you see personal cars. You see taxis, you see city buses, you see the subway, you see Uber drivers. So what am I getting at? What's my point here? That the people of New York City don't have to pay a mortgage. They don't have to pay insurance on a home. They don't have to pay taxes on a home every year. They don't have to pay a monthly note for a car. They don't have to pay insurance for a car. So they don't get what the other Americans who own a home and own a car and own both, the struggle that they get. But they should, because the cost of living here is so high. Even if you rent an apartment just to go out to eat, to go to the grocery store, to take an Uber for 5 minutes is $60. I know that for a fact because I just had to do it. It's very expensive to live here. So how and why these people in New York City support this is beyond me. But when it comes to the average American, the basics that are the most that Americans pay for every month, that's your mortgage and your car notes and your car insurance and your taxes on your home and all of the things that come with owning a home, most of these people don't have to deal with because they're living in this big city in apartments in a high-rise, walking to work every day or taking an Uber or a taxi. So they don't know the struggles of having those two top, your car and your house, those two top bills that you have to pay every month. What they do have to deal with is being in a crowd every day, because there are millions of people here in New York City, and if you have to be around crowds, you understand the feeling. When somebody coughs or sneezes, you kind of want to walk away, turn your head. Well, you know what? You know who can save you with that? The wellness company. They have the medical emergency kit. So if you're worried about getting sick and are worried about what the next pandemic may be, make sure you have one of these on hand. This is Dr. Peter McCullough and his team. They used to be working with President Trump during the COVID pandemic and the height of the pandemic. If you remember, it was hard to get medications. The FDA was saying, we couldn't approve this medication. We couldn't give you this. Medication was hard to find. Just a lot. And people were sick and people were dying. So we never know when that next pandemic may hit. So you'll get ivermectin, you'll get all kinds of drugs that you would need, prescription drugs that you would need in case you get sick. You'll get a Z-Pack, and that's for a common cold. So if you can't get to your doctor, if you can't get to the emergency room, if you can't get the medication that you need next time you get sick, have this medical emergency kit on hand so you don't have to worry about what comes next when trying to find the medication to make you feel better. So that's the medical emergency kit. Go to makecaregreatagain.com, makecaregreatagain.com. Put in the RSBN code. You'll save a discount on your order, and make sure you're prepared for the next pandemic or the next time the bug strikes your family. You'll be prepared with that medical emergency kit. All right, I'm Vanessa Broussard, standing outside live here in front of Trump Tower on 5th Avenue. We'll continue to monitor things over here, but right now it's calm. It's all right. People are going to work. People are walking around. And again, business as usual. We're going to toss it back over to Brian right now. Brian?
All right, thanks, Vanessa. We're back out here live in Collect Pond Park is what it's called, right across the street from the courthouse where President Trump is in trial right now. Jury selection, as we've been talking about, is underway. And, they're going to basically, go through about 500 people to find 12 people a jury of his peers. Now, I was talking to somebody during your segment that lives here, and he said, hey, they'll eventually find it. But the way this toxic media is so far, it's really hard to find somebody here in New York City that is unbiased when it turns to some of these things in the case. I'm going to turn our attention to Steve here. I see Steve. I met you at CPAC several years ago. It seems that we basically we always run into each other somewhere.
We go to the right places. We hang out with the right people, Brian.
Tell me why you're here today.
I'm here to show support for President Trump. It's a sham what's happening in that courthouse there, and I think it's important as a New Yorker and as an American to give him support. He has our back. I want to be part of the crowd that has his back as
I
well.
often say New York City has got to be a tough place to be a Trump supporter due to the toxic nature of this town. What has your experience been like? Obviously, wearing all of this, walking around.
Well, look,
Let's see. Give me a good shot of the Trump truck coming through here, making its way down Media Row there. Let's just listen in. As the obviously the crowd here responding to this massive dually coming through here, blowing the horns, sporting the Trump flags. Making his way just right in front of Media Row there, so that I would imagine disrupted a couple of live shots there. Thank you so much, Joe, for getting that. I couldn't help but I heard the horn. I heard it
and it was
before I saw it.
Pro-Trump horn.
There it is. Now, okay, get back to where you stand. Like, so, be a supporter in this town. You got to really be strong and bold and be able to take a little bit of criticism.
Listen, over 90% voted for Biden. They're Democrats, they're liberals, right? That's why I think it's almost guaranteed Trump's going to be convicted here, because the jury pool is either going to be filled all with Democrats or someone who won't have the courage to stand out and say not guilty, because they'd be, from peer pressure, ostracized for life. Right? The judge shouldn't even be a judge in this case. Judges are afraid to be fair for Trump. But yeah, in New York, I'm careful where I wear my Trump stuff, but I am noticing I talk to more and more New Yorkers, and not only can't they stand Biden, but they're like, you know what? This is unfair what's happening to Trump.
You're saying people see these lawsuits and they're telling themselves this is unfair what they're doing to President Trump.
If they're fair and they read about it and they want to give him a chance, then yeah, this is totally unfair. The question is, do they even care? Do they hate Trump enough that they don't care? That they try to convince themselves that this is something legit? That's really funny to hear them try to make it legit. But
let's talk about the economy and the economic situation here in New York City for you. What have you seen in terms of how it's so hard to make ends meet, I would imagine, here in New York City?
It's terrible. You can walk anywhere. You see stores for rent. This used to be a vibrant city. And it's not just business-wise. It's because of crime. As a New Yorker, I loved going late at night to a 24-hour diner. They said New York's the city that never sleeps. It sleeps now. The diner that was 24 hours closes at 10:30 or midnight, and that's it. It's because of crime, and it's because of the economy. New York's not the same city. Democrats have ruined it, and New Yorkers should know that and vote for Trump, because he could save New York and America.
That's a clip right there for social media, because let me tell you something, you're absolutely right. I noticed last night I went out to dinner and I was looking for a place to go. A lot of places closed at 9 o'clock. And I thought to myself, wait, this is New York City. It should be open later. But to your point, it makes sense that they're not.
I wanted a 2 a.m. steak in the past. I knew I can get it. Not healthy for me, but at least I could get it, right? Now I can't get it anymore. And it's sad. You're afraid walking around New York. It just said there's no energy in the city. And a lot of New Yorkers are moving to the red states of Florida, Texas, Tennessee. Yeah.
Talking about the tourist. I mean, you look at Times Square and some of these areas that predominantly pull a lot of tourism. Have you seen a decrease in that at all? And maybe you don't have any idea.
I still see a lot of tourists. They come here, they go to Broadway. It's still Times Square is a cool place to be in. But if you're a New Yorker and you walk on the side streets and you just see the filth, and you know you need to be afraid here. I don't take the subways late at night anymore. After 10 o'clock, I'm like, I'll take a taxi or an Uber and take my chances with that, as opposed to getting shoved on a subway track.
Good point there. Let's talk about what you're wearing real quickly. I met you years ago at CPAC, and you had these amazing hammocks, and you've kind of gotten into the more of a scarves. Let's tell me how you got started with all this.
Well, I was involved with someone who makes hammocks, and we wanted to make a hammock for President Trump, a one-off. And the response to it was very positive, and so we expanded the business to MAGA hammocks. So we have big hammocks, small hammocks with patriotic messaging, everything from Trump's name to Save America to fake news, right? But not everyone has space for a hammock, and so we made now handmade scarves. Everything we make, Brian, is handmade in El Salvador with USA material. So we send them the material, we design it. We have a Save America, Let's Go Brandon scarf, and now Trump 2024.
So you're actually creating jobs in El Salvador. Think about that. There's people down there that did not have employment until you.
And I appreciate that you recognize that, right? Because it encourages them to stay there. They're artisans.
Do they understand what they're making? Do they understand the political significance of what they're making?
They love Trump down there. El Salvador is sort of a MAGA country. Bukele, the president there, right? He's very supportive of Trump. I actually showed him this. I said, "Made in El Salvador," right. But yeah, I think it's great that they're making by hand patriotic MAGA product. They appreciate it, right? It'd be tough to find in this country, not only because of the skill to make it, but we're a divided country. We have divided economic interests here.
Let me ask you a question. What should President Trump do on day one on this next administration? I know what a majority of Americans that I talk to every day say, but I want to know hear from you.
Well, he says he'd be a dictator on day one, so I wouldn't mind if he would arrest all the New York City corrupt, attorney general, district attorney. Well, let's just say here, right, Letitia James, right, she ran on getting Trump. That's illegal. You can't run on getting someone, especially to remain like an attorney general. This shows you how corrupt our legal system.
Bonnie Willis did the same thing. They all run on the pretense of getting Trump. So that's kind of what.
And they're all corrupt. But why didn't the legal bars that give the licenses realize, hey, you can't run on this? So our system, they should have been impeached and disbarred. But aside from that, right, as he says, close the border. Right, and he says, drill, baby, drill, release the economy, make us energy independent again. He needs to make America rich again. And as a New Yorker, I'd like to see him get involved in dealing with the crime. He says he wants to nationalize Washington, D.C., because that's terrible, too. So I would like to see him use the power that he would have to make our city safer again and our system more fair. As he says, he's a martyr here if he ends up in jail or convicted, because this is unfair. So as I say, Brian, it's good to be here so he sees that people support him and know this is a bunch of sorry BS.
I know his team's probably watching us right now in and out of this court. One final question, foreign policy. What broke out over the weekend, this attack on Israel, President Trump often says, and he's said it before, this would not have happened on his watch.
Well, it didn't happen under his watch, so it's not even a theory. Russia didn't invade Ukraine when he was president. Hamas didn't go into Israel, and Iran didn't have money because of Trump's policies. So Biden, being the weak president he is, allowed Iran to get a lot of money, and they paid off Hamas and just did so much damage, and they're not afraid of Biden. It's so ridiculous to hear what their message is, the Biden administration. Their message is don't. Well, they didn't listen to don't. It's an Elvis song. It's a good Elvis song. When Biden says it, it's a joke, right? So Trump, with strength, scared other countries from messing with the U.S., and now you just see it. They said Trump would cause World War III. Biden has caused, hopefully, well, he's brought us to the brink of it, right? They said they're the adults. No, they're not the adults. They're the idiots.
It's really scary when you think about it. When it broke out see, the last week, the U.S. intelligence warned, remember, that it was imminent on U.S. or Israeli forces or properties, and then this past weekend it happened. Now Iran is threatening that if Israel responds, they're going to respond. I mean,
And Biden is telling Israel not to respond. Just take it. You know, thank God they were able to intercept it, and maybe Iran just did it for show. But if you send 350 missiles towards a country, is the country just supposed to say, well, you know, we managed to stop it, so that's okay? No, they should be punished. Granted, it's scary to escalate things out there, so Israel needs to be careful, but I think Israel would feel a lot more safe knowing they had someone like Trump on their side, because Trump understands you need to be strong, and he hates these radicals while Biden is going after their votes.
That's very interesting. Steve, good to see you again. Once again, if you want to get the hammock or the scarves.
MAGAhammocks.com. Right.
Clear disclosure, not a sponsor of the show. Just noticed the scarf there and wanted to point it out. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Enjoy. Stay safe. Looks like we're getting another pass through with the truck. Let's see if we can walk maybe a little bit. Thank you very much. Let's get to the corner and see if we can get a better look at that truck. Nice little pass by, and obviously all the media on Media Row is kind of scrambling to get the images and the video of this truck. I would imagine, obviously the truck is not, violating any kind of laws right now. This is an open street right here, so he's simply exercising his freedom of speech right now in support of the president making his way through here. All right, Joe, we can turn around and go back a little bit this way. I know it's kind of tight to get in there. We'll walk back here. If you're just now joining us, we are live here in Collect Pond Park, right in front of the courthouse here in New York City. I would say, I'm going to be as extremely honest as possible here, but I would say there's almost equally amount of media here as there are supporters, and I would say there are a handful of supporters here, obviously. The other side is, and that is the side of, I guess, the protesters. If there were protesters, that is the side. So let's get a good look of who's not showing up today. Now, I heard some people off camera kind of talk about the fact that it's a little too early for a protester to show up. They don't get up until Americans are simply not in support of an aid package to Ukraine. Now, obviously, they are with Israel, but it's almost like what they're doing is piggybacking the.
So, meine Lieben, ich will mal sehen, wie das mit dem Ton ist. Nochmal, es wird ja hier stundenlang geredet und philosophiert. Einige wichtige Sachen will ich für euch noch übersetzen hier, weil vieles ist wirklich nicht relevant, kann man sagen. Ihr müsst auch überlegen, dass diese Network, Right Side Broadcasting, sind die einzigen, die alles wirklich hier minutiös über Donald Trump ständig übertragen. Der Grund ist folgender: Sie sammeln sehr viele Spenden ein bei diesen Übertragungen und da sind ja Millionen von Abonnenten auf diesem Kanal. Wie ist die Stimmung im Moment in den Vereinigten Staaten? Ja, wir können uns natürlich den Mund fußlich reden, hier für Stunden, für Tage, für Wochen, für Monate, was wir ja bereits tun, und die Mainstream-Medien bekämpfen das. Sie wollen alles, was positiv ist an Donald Trump, wegwischen. Die reale Situation ist, dass umso mehr Anklagen Donald Trump bekommt, umso mehr man ihn versucht aus dem Verkehr zu ziehen, umso populärer wird er, umso mehr Wahlstimmen bekommt er für sich, Prognosen für sich. Er hat in allen Staaten alles abgeräumt, was abzuräumen war, als Favorit, als der Kandidat der Republikaner. Das wird aber so nicht dargestellt außerhalb der Vereinigten Staaten. Das ist das Absurde an dieser ganzen Angelegenheit. Im Moment versucht man durch den Kongress etwas zu bringen. Das eine ist, dass man ein Gesetz, eine Verordnung herausbringen will. Seit gestern ist man daran, die illegalen Wähler daran zu hindern, dass sie wählen dürfen. Wer sind illegale Wähler? Das sind Menschen, die illegal eingewandert sind, Flüchtlinge, zum großen Teil. Okay, stellt euch vor, wir würden jetzt alle Flüchtlinge in Deutschland wählen lassen. Das ist, was die Menschen in den Vereinigten Staaten natürlich aufhorchen lässt, denn das ist jetzt eine Kampagne, die die Demokraten gestartet haben, um auf diese Art und Weise zu Stimmen zu kommen, nämlich den Leuten, denen sie geholfen haben, ins Land zu kommen, in die Vereinigten Staaten zu kommen, die über die Grenze gekommen sind, die aus der ganzen Welt in die Vereinigten Staaten eingereist sind mit der Hilfe des Weißen Hauses, obwohl darunter sehr viele Kriminelle sind und sehr viele Terroristen auch. Jetzt will man aber diesen Leuten die Möglichkeit geben zu wählen. Und da gab es eine Pressekonferenz vor 3 Tagen mit dem Sprecher des Hauses und mit Donald Trump ich kann schon gar nicht mehr reden hier, ich bin schon ganz durcheinander. Mar-a-Lago ist ja der Hauptsitz, ja. Das Milliardenprojekt, das angeblich nur 18 Millionen Dollar kostet, laut des Richters in New York. Also wir leben wirklich in einer Fantasiewelt. Wie kann es sein, dass millionenfach Menschen gegen eine Ungerechtigkeit ankämpfen und komplett auf den Arm genommen werden von den Regierungen und auch vor allen Dingen von den Medien. Die Medien wollen es einfach nicht einsehen. Man kann da wirklich nichts mehr sagen. Man läuft gegen Betonwände hier. Was hier passiert, ihr müsst euch mal vorstellen, da ist eine Staatsanwältin in New York, Letizia James, die nicht wegen ihren Fähigkeiten zur Generalstaatsanwältin geworden ist, sondern weil sie eine Wahlkampagne gestartet hat. Damit fängt das Ganze schon an. Eine Staatsanwältin macht eine Wahlkampagne, damit sie zur Staatsanwältin des Bundeslandes gewählt wird. Die Gesetze sind dort so. Ja? Das kann man sich in Deutschland kaum vorstellen. Da geht ein Jurist raus und lässt sich wählen zum Richter, vom Volk aus. So läuft das in New York. Und weil man in New York ja anti-Trump ist, hat sie einfach gesagt, wenn ich Staatsanwältin des Bundes werde, Generalstaatsanwältin, wenn ihr mich dazu wählt, dann verspreche ich euch, dass ich Donald Trump jagen werde. Das war ihr Wahlversprechen. Sowas wird in Deutschland gar nicht gesagt, es wird gar nicht erwähnt, das kommt überhaupt gar nicht vor. Damit fängt das ganze Unrealistische schon an. Sie ist gewählt worden und jetzt hat sie ihr Wahlversprechen erfüllt, indem sie Donald Trump auf jegliche Art und Weise verfolgt. Ja. Ich weiß nicht, ob euch das irgendein deutscher Sender schon mal so erklärt hat. Und wenn, ihr würdet das ja nicht glauben. Von uns glauben die Leute das sowieso nicht, und weil wir das sagen, werden wir ja auch zensiert, nicht? Komplett. Das ist die Situation. Ja, hier sind wieder die Gespräche. Es geht darum, ob man die jüngere Generation endlich mal von der Wahrheit überzeugen kann und sich statt auf Gender und diesen ganzen Unsinn zu konzentrieren, Männer in Frauensport zu bringen und diese ganzen grün-rot-extremistischen Dinge. Ihr müsst euch mal vorstellen, das ist immer wieder dasselbe. Es geht immer wieder darum, was für ein Unsinn jetzt in die Realität umgesetzt wird. Alles alte Kamellen. Es ist offensichtlich, der Kampf hat begonnen schon seit langem, und große Frage ist, wird Donald Trump das durchstehen, wird es schaffen oder kippt er um? Darum geht es im Moment. Ich denke, er wird nicht umkippen, sei denn, man tut ihm einen Schaden an oder er wird krank, das kann natürlich auch passieren. Aber ansonsten glaube ich, dass Donald Trump das Ganze durchstehen wird und durchkämpfen wird bis zum Letzten. Er ist ein Kämpfer. So, und dafür stehen jetzt die Leute hier alle auf der Straße. Ich werde es jetzt noch ein bisschen anlassen, aber viel Neues werden wir hier nicht erfahren. Außerdem, dass wir darauf warten, dass Donald Trump kommt und uns sagt, wie es ihm gegangen ist. Er muss jetzt 3-mal die Woche vor Gericht erscheinen. Wie lange, weiß kein Mensch. Das ist unglaublich. Und behandelt ihn wirklich wie ein Verbrecher, ein ehemaliger Präsident der Vereinigten Staaten. Ja. So, diese Frau ist eine Afroamerikanerin und sie sagt, Amerika soll wieder an erste Stelle gehen. Und jetzt will man ihr das natürlich auch verbieten. Ich bin hier, weil Amerika zur Hölle fährt. Es geht nicht um Präsident Trump, es geht um dieses Land. Es geht um die prekären und fürchterlichen Zustände, die wir in diesem Lande jetzt haben. Ich bin aus Barbados hier eingewandert. Ich bin hier Amerikanerin geworden. Um nach Amerika zu kommen, gibt es einen Prozess und dieser Prozess wird ignoriert. Als ich in dieses Land kam vor Jahrzehnten, da hat man den Prozess noch respektiert und viele Menschen durften nicht reinkommen. Andere durften reinkommen, jetzt darf jeder reinkommen. Die Menschen umgehen den Prozess, sie respektieren nicht die Regeln, um hier ordentlich und so wie es sich gehört, den Regeln zu folgen, in unser Land einzuwandern. Und man muss diesen Prozess Schritt für Schritt befolgen. Das ist, wie ein ordentlicher Einwanderungsprozess funktioniert und nicht, dass du einen Verrückten an die Grenze kommen lässt und sagst, ja, du darfst reinkommen, du hast mir deine Geschichte erzählt, jetzt darfst du reinkommen. Das ist absolut verrückt. Als ich mich für eine Einbürgerung beworben habe, ich war immer noch ein Ausländer, bis ich eingebürgert wurde. Ich bin ein sogenannter Fremder, ein Alien, bis ich den Prozess bestanden habe und bis ich dann ein Bürger geworden bin. Und diese Menschen gibt man die ganzen Rechte, die immer noch keine Bürger sind. Sie wollen dem Gesetz nicht treu sein. Sie wollen das Gesetz ignorieren und auf diese Art und Weise die Einbürgerung beschleunigen. Das geht nicht. Wir können die Gesetze nicht. Wir dürfen die Gesetze nicht ignorieren und Menschen, die auf diese Art und Weise in dieses Land kommen, sollen wieder zurückgeschickt werden, bis sie nach den Regeln hier eingewandert sind, wie es sich gehört. Es läuft auch jetzt bei den Wahlkampagnen nicht mehr richtig. Wenn du zwei Kandidaten hast, die sich als Präsident bewerben, dann machst du Debatten. Dann gehen diese beiden gemeinsam vors Volk und debattieren miteinander. Und dann entscheidet das Volk, welchen der beiden sie als Präsident wählen möchte. Aber du gehst nicht aus dem Weißen Haus heraus, beziehungsweise du betreibst keine Kampagne aus dem Weißen Haus, um deinen Gegner aus dem Weg zu räumen. Das ist nicht demokratisch. Sie hat recht, wenn sie das sagt. Absolut recht. Wenn du in dieses Land legal eingewandert bist und wenn du die Gesetze respektiert hast und die richtigen, ordentlichen Schritte gewählt hast, um hier in diesem Land zum Staatsbürger zu werden, dann hast du auch ein Recht, wütend zu sein über die Menschen, die das nicht tun und auf ihre Art und Weise dann sogar noch die Rechte eines Bürgers bekommen. Ich bin in die Vereinigten Staaten gekommen letztes Jahr und was ich jetzt hier sehe, das zeigt mir, dass die Demokraten Angst haben, dass sie die Wahlen verlieren, wenn sie nicht irgendetwas unregelmäßig tun. Ich treffe so viele Menschen überall, wo ich hingehe, und sie schreien regelrecht im Chor: Trump, Trump, Trump. Es gibt sie überall auf jeder Ecke. Die Unterstützer von Donald Trump werden immer mehr, jeden Tag. Massiv offene Grenzen, ist das fair? Ich bin hier legal ins Land gekommen. Und ich habe da meine Familie hergebracht. Ich habe alles legal gemacht, Schritt für Schritt. Sie bekommen die besten Hotels, sie werden beschützt. Sie müssen nichts bringen, nichts leisten, und sie werden hier ins Land eingeschleust, legal, obwohl es illegal ist, was sie tun. Ich verstehe das nicht, ich kann das nicht begreifen. Das ist ein großes Problem.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate.
Ich habe schon mal ein Selfie mit Ihnen gemacht vor ein paar Monaten. So, hier sind auch sehr viele Trump-Unterstützer, aber es sind auch viele in New York, die Trump hassen.
All right, so it looks like we've got a little bit more activity here than we have. How you doing, Dion? How you doing? Good. What's your thoughts on today?
I think it's great. I think I'm here actually for Don Jr. at 28. I'm out early, but I think it's good because this is only going to boost us once again. These sham indictments are going to help Trump in the polls to win. I think that the Democrats overshot.
I was talking about you earlier, how New York is so thankful that they have this nice core of MAGA Trump supporters here in the belly of the beast in New York. And I'm telling you, Dion, this is not an easy place to be a Trump supporter. Someone's in Texas or the Deep South, you can wear your MAGA hat, you pretty much get high fives all day long. You, my friend, are a brave individual you do what you do. But let's talk about how important it is to get President Trump back in the White House.
Well, I mean, just not off of these sham indictments alone, but just for the state of our country to make America great again. You know, they call these people, these Democrats, progressives, but they're not progressives in any way, shape, or form. This country is going to hell in a handbasket. You know, it's just, we need to turn this country around 180 degrees and go back to where we were when Trump first got into office. And when a lot of people ask me, when do you say make America great again? What do you actually mean? I'd say about the 1990s. It was a really good time in American history. We got to go back to that era where, we just worked, people came together, and then, of course, 9/11 happened. But, we just need to turn this country around. Yeah.
Listen, also, you think about these foreign wars that we're getting ourselves in. Biden is recklessly getting us into. We got a conveyor belt of money going to Ukraine. Yep. Now we have the Iran and Israel, this escalation, dragging us potentially into a war.
Well, yeah, sure. It's not, Biden really isn't dragging us in the war. These other countries just see the weakness that, Iran wanted to hit Israel for 50 years. They did it because, they know Joe Biden's not going to retaliate. He told Bibi Netanyahu, take the win. Take the win. Just get 350 missiles, but high five. Here we go. So I see it as just as a weakness for America to right now with Joe Biden. Not really that he's actually drawing us in the wars. These other countries know that he's just a weak individual who will do nothing about it.
That is a great point. I'm glad you clarified that. Also, let's talk about New York City in general. Do you feel safe? It's a city. You got these migrants coming here, crime. I guess depending on where you go, some places are better. You live here, and you often report about what's going on here. What do you see as a New Yorker?
Well, this indictment, I'd say it's not against Donald Trump or the American people. It's mostly against New Yorkers because we see the actual crime, especially with these illegal alien invasion that's coming on. And I live over in Sheepshead Bay, where there's a 5,000 migrant encampment over in my neighborhood with my children, just blocks away from my house. And they're fighting inside these tent cities that they built, and somehow, some way, the mayor's trying to convince these people crime isn't happening. All these people getting pushed in front of trains, carjackings, murders. They're destroying the Upper West and the Upper East Side of New York City. It's already gone. That's destroyed. So this hurts New Yorkers more than anything, because we're using all the DA's resources, all the judges' resources to literally destroy this country over a $200,000 severance pay package.
Lastly, you are known for doing some of the coolest flag drops in the country. You've done a bunch of them. Which are some of your favorites that you can't believe that you actually pulled off?
Oh, well, Disneyland will always be my favorite. When I did on the Mark Twain boat going around, that was my favorite one. But the best picture, and I always do it for the best picture. It's like golf for me. I got to get the best picture. Trump won at Yankee Stadium was probably my favorite photograph. And I have a big poster of it up on my wall in my bedroom.
And you've got an amazing company. Let's show some of these flags up here. If I'm not mistaken, these are your flags, right?
Yeah, I make the flags, TrumpSwag.com, and I make them, I battle test them for myself first, and then if I get a lot of reaction from the Democrats, how much they hate them, then I mass produce them. The Trump or Death, Trump 2024, and of course, Junior2028.com is my next one, yeah.
I just now noticed the other one.
Don Junior, I'm out early.
You're out early on this. Well, I appreciate you coming out here. I appreciate you being a part of this. And by the way, what do you think about the non-presence of the protesters over there?
Well, yeah, they're coming over. They're coming over, and I know it firsthand. Being a New Yorker, I hear the black community. I hear, in the Bronx. I wear my hat everywhere in the city now. Everywhere. I'm not scared. I'll go up.
A lot of thumbs up.
Oh yeah, man. The whole city is definitely turning around. So I'm not really surprised that we have a low volume here on our side, but a very low volume on the left side, because that's it. They've given up. They know that these indictments are against them too. They're New Yorkers. They're New Yorkers too.
Maybe the minimum wage for a paid activist went up and they couldn't pay him anymore. Thank you so much. Once again, not a sponsor, but TrumpSwag.com. TrumpSwag.com. Appreciate what you do, my friend. We'll see you. Stay safe out here in New York City. All right, so we're going to, in a few minutes, 30 seconds, we're going to toss it over to Vanessa Broussard, who is in front of Trump Tower, to maybe give us an idea of what that situation looks like. But here in front of the courthouse at Collect Pond Park, the crowd has substantially got a little more than it was before. A lot of media, a lot of Trump supporters, but zero, I would say, people on the other side. So signing off from here, I'll turn it over to Vanessa Broussard live at Trump Tower. Vanessa, take it away.
Fifth Avenue and East 56th Street here in Manhattan, right in front of Trump Tower. A lot has come in since we last spoke to you here from in front of Trump Tower. I want to show you some first pictures of President Trump. Breaking news coming in right now. First pictures of President Trump inside the courtroom as jury selection is now underway. This picture courtesy of Alamy. Photo credit there for that photo given to Right Side Broadcasting Network. And if you look at the facial expression of President Trump in this photo, it's very similar to that famous mugshot of his, which was taken in Atlanta, Georgia, in the Fannie Willis case there in Georgia. So that look is very similar, staring into the camera, looking like he means business today here in New York. But this is a man who conducts business in this city, and that's what you're looking at behind me, a skyline that this man is responsible for. But yes, that look right there is very similar to the mugshot that's now on pictures all over the world, on T-shirts, on caps, on coffee mugs, you name it. When he took that mugshot in Atlanta, it took off and took the world by storm. And this photo coming in from the courtroom looks, again, very similar. Now, I read you some of President Trump's Truth Social posts from last night into this morning. Well, there was one I have not read to you, and if you're not on Truth Social, we encourage you to do so. That is President Trump's social media platform where free speech is allowed. He did posts this morning as he was going into the courtroom. He said, quote, "When I walk into that courtroom, I know I will have the love of 200 million Americans behind me, and I will be fighting for the freedom of 325 million Americans." So he says this all the time. They're not after me, they're after you. I'm just standing in the way. And if President Trump believes that he does not have a fair trial and can't get a fair trial, and that all of these cases against him, not just here in New York City, but also in Georgia and in Florida, that's the Mar-a-Lago boxes hoax. If he can't get fair trials, how can the typical everyday American expect a fair trial? If our justice system is so corrupt, they're not just being corrupt with President Trump. They will be corrupt for you as well. So that was a Truth Social post coming in from President Trump as well. Also, some new poll numbers just released from Interactive Polls here in the last 5 to 10 minutes, looking at the 2024 general election and a head-to-head matchup with President Joe Biden. When you look at Trump versus Biden, according to Interactive Polls, doing very well for President Trump in the swing states, starting with Georgia, President Trump at 52%, Joe Biden at 42%. Heading over to Nevada, where he was there a lot in the Las Vegas area during the Nevada caucus, which he won. Trump 51%, Biden 44%. Pennsylvania, where he was just this weekend, speaking to a crowd, rallying a crowd of 42,000 people on Saturday night. Trump 49%, Biden 45%. Michigan, Trump 51%, Biden 45%. Going over to Arizona, where there's a key Senate race going on with Carrie Lake, but again, this is for the presidential polling. Trump 51%, Biden 45%, and then over in Wisconsin, it is pretty much neck and neck with Trump and Biden. But I want to go back to Pennsylvania, where these poll numbers from Interactive Polls has President Trump leading 49% to 45% over Biden. If you look at what happened in Schnecksville, Pennsylvania, just Saturday night, 45,000, 42,000 people arriving there to see President Trump. The line was so long, one of the longest lines I've ever seen at a Trump rally or a Trump event. If this is any indication of what the polling locations will look like come November, then it's not even this close like this poll is showing. But I said this on Saturday, and I'll say it again. I spoke to a political analyst a couple of months ago, and what she told me was that in a lot of these polls, they usually favor toward a Democrat, no matter if it's at the local level, state level, or federal level. Polls usually favor a Democrat. You saw that in 2016 with Hillary Clinton. President Trump was losing in the polls. He would tell the people, don't listen to the poll numbers. Well, he ended up winning that election. And here you are seeing him doing very well in the polls, which is great news. But if you think about what this political analyst told me, that these polls tend to lean left. If he's winning in these polls, that means he's probably doing much better than the actual numbers shown in the polls. President Trump says this often during his rallies. Just because you see me leading does not mean you need to stay at home. Still go out and vote. We need to storm the polls. We need to make sure our numbers are so strong that the Democrats cannot cheat in this election, which they were known to do back in 2020. So storm the polls, continue to do so. And days like today is another situation where we know his poll numbers will continue to grow, because the more they attack President Trump, the more upset the people of America become, and the more they realize that we really do live in a very unjust, unfair, corrupt nation. And it's not usually the people, everyday Americans, it's the people at the top. And you see this in this case with the DA Alvin Bragg and the judge Marchand, whose daughter works for a political consulting firm that's Democrat. So if the judge has Democrat ties, how can he be fair to the leading Republican candidate for the 2024 election. Makes you wonder how fair this trial will be. Also, looking at the numbers, back in 2016 here in Manhattan, President Trump only received 10% of the vote. In 2020, he received 12% of the vote. Are the 12% of voters who voted for President Trump sitting in that courthouse today? Chances are slim. So will he actually get a fair trial? Will he get 12 people in that jury box who will be fair and just and do this correctly and go by the law of the land? Makes you think probably not. We hope so, but the chances are slim. We'll just have to wait it out and see. But President Trump has said many times that this is a trial that should be stopped right now. It should be dropped immediately. The DOJ actually did some investigation into this case, found no wrongdoing. And so, you look at the charges brought against him, the 34 charges brought against him, which typically would be a misdemeanor charge, but DA Alvin Bragg has bumped those to federal charges. So very unfair, and makes you wonder why he would do that. Well, the answer is because you have the leading Republican candidate for president doing very well in the polls, and they're scared, so they're doing everything they can to keep him off the campaign trail, keep him from doing well in the polls, and keep him from winning the presidency come November. As we continue to bring you live coverage, team coverage here in New York City today, I want to remind you to go to our website, rsbnetwork.com. You have a viewer behind us saying that they love Donald Trump. They're here in New York City. They're just not many that we're told, but looking at the numbers and the voting, but there are a lot of people here still that love President Donald Trump, and they know that he is the reason New York City was once a flourishing city. But again, go to rsbnetwork.com, sign up for our newsletter as we continue to bring you the latest from this trial that should take 4 to 6, maybe even 8 weeks to complete. We're told that jury selection should take several weeks, and then the trial itself could take another up to 8 weeks. So we may be here a lot. You'll get a lot of that online as well. So make sure you're following us on all of our social media platforms, rsbnetwork.com. Go to our newsletter, sign up for that, and also go to donate as well. You're the reason that we are able to be out here continuing to bring you the truth about what's happening to President Trump and to our great country, the demise of this nation in decline. We are here to report that to you because of your donations. So please continue to donate for us. We thank you to everyone who has donated, and thank you to those who donate today. Okay, I'm going to take a look behind me because let me tell you, earlier today when President Trump left the Trump Tower, there was security all over and around the block. It was barricaded. And lots of law enforcement officers. You still see some law enforcement officers at East 56th and 5th Avenue. We want to thank the brave men and women in blue who protect this city. They have a tough time, as all law enforcement officers do across the nation, but it's definitely hard. It has to be hard for a law enforcement officer to serve in a Democrat-run city when their hands are pretty much tied when it's dealing with the criminals. And we know that New York City, that the crime is running rampant in this city. Just last month, one of their own passed away. We want to give our thoughts, our prayers, our condolences to the family of Officer Jonathan Diller, a fallen officer who was shot and killed in a traffic stop just last month. Days later, his funeral was held. President Trump came into New York City to attend that funeral and console the family. On the same day as the funeral was taking place, Joe Biden, Obama, and Clinton all gathered together at a big party in New York City, a big fundraising party where they raised $25 million for their campaign. So it goes to show you they are not backers of the blue. Donald Trump is. He backs the blue. He came in just for the funeral of Officer Jonathan Diller, while Joe Biden, Obama, and Clinton partied away that night, raising money for their campaign so they can continue, hopefully, in their eyes, continue to destroy this country. NYPD has patrol units still parked around Trump Tower. So Trump Tower is just a typical day here today with President Trump in court. People are now allowed in and out as they normally would. We're seeing a lot of tourists stomping in front of the iconic front of the building behind that clock right there, taking photos with their families, and then going inside. And as we hit the 11 o'clock hour, probably having lunch. There's several shops in there, a coffee shop. There's actually a bakery now inside where they can go inside and enjoy some sweet treats. I will tell you this, while we've been out here for the last couple of hours, we've had several people ask us, what's going on today? Why are there cameras all around? What are you here reporting? And it just boggles my mind that people just don't know what's going on today. They're unaware of what's going on in our country. And this is the big news headlines of the day. It's all over the news. It's all over social media that President Trump is in New York today for this history-making court case, the first ever former president to stand trial in a criminal case, charged with 34 felony counts of falsifying business records. President Trump pleaded not guilty in April of last year in a Manhattan courtroom. Felony counts. Again, these are counts that would usually be misdemeanors, but DA Alvin Bragg says, no, for Trump, we'll make them felonies. The DOJ investigated, found no wrongdoing, but DA Bragg says, I'm still going to do what I want to do, and we're going to make them felonies. So where are we in our criminal justice system when a district attorney is being fair and unjust? Where are we? When you can take a misdemeanor or a felony and flip-flop back and forth, create a charge, increase the charge, pretty much do what you want to do. That's very scary for America. That's why we always say that our criminal justice system, that's also in decline. So we need to pay very close attention to what's going on in this case. Now, we talk a lot about jury selection going on today. That is happening right now. But what if he's found guilty? Well, that's up to the jurors. 12 jurors will sit in that box. They'll decide if he's guilty or not guilty. But the sentencing is up to the judge. And if President Trump were to plead guilty, he could serve up to 4 years in prison. But again, that's up to the judge to decide. And we'll see what happens there. But of course, back to, will we have a fair trial? Will we have a fair jury? Do we have a fair judge? Do we have a fair DA? You can answer that at home. You know my thoughts on that. All right, so let's talk about Birch Gold. You know my thoughts on them as well. They are wonderful. They can definitely help you get situated for the future. Save big with the Birch Gold Group. Turn your IRAs, your 401ks into more money. Invest with them. Text the word Trump to 989898. Very easy to do. A member of the company will call you. They'll come up with a plan that's specifically for you, not your neighbor or your coworker, for you. They'll look at what you want to invest in, a plan to get the most bang for your buck. So text the word Trump to 989898. They'll send you a free information kit. They have a wonderful 5-star A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. Thousands of happy customers who write in all the time about how the Birch Gold Group has helped them sleep better at night, knowing that their money is safe and they don't have to struggle like they thought they would have to in this terrible economy and wondering what the future looks like. They'll get you on the right path. Again, text the word Trump to 989898. That is the Birch Gold Group. All right, so what are we expecting when it comes to testimony? We're still unsure if President Trump will take the stand. If I were to guess, I would say he probably would want to, but that depends on the advice of his attorneys as well. I think that he would be the best bet when it comes to going head-to-head against him and Michael Cohen, his former attorney, who is also expected to testify in this trial. So, again, we just don't know yet if President Trump will take the stand and what his attorneys advise him to do. Michael Cohen will testify. Stormy Daniels, the former stripper, will testify as well. President Trump has said all along that he has not had any sexual relations with Stormy Daniels. He says this is all a sham. This is all fake news. This is all just a Biden crime family trial to stop him from being president and winning that election in 2024. All right, so that'll do it for us right now here on 5th Avenue in front of Trump Tower. We'll continue to watch from over here what's happening 20 minutes away at the courthouse. As we get new information in, we'll come back live to you. But in the meantime, I'm Vanessa Broussard reporting to you live from outside Trump Tower. Follow us here wherever you're watching from, Rumble, YouTube, Facebook. Thank you for watching. We'll continue to bring you the very latest. But in the meantime, we're going to send it back over to Brian Glenn, who is there with a lot of Trump supporters outside of the courthouse. You know that has to make President Trump feel good today, knowing those people are there supporting him. Brian?
All right, guys, we're back here live at Collect Pond Park, directly across the street from the courthouse. Paul Ingracia, I hope I've got your last name pronounced right, Ingracia, longtime conservative here in the New York area, obviously a supporter of President Trump. First of all, what's your thoughts on what we've seen here today in front of the courthouse?
Well, I mean, it's equal parts tragic that President Trump has to go through this, but it's encouraging to see all the support down here in the belly of the beast in Manhattan, where you expect to have a very hostile judge, jury, and so forth, here coming out to support President Trump on the streets. I mean, last year, you and I were both down here, Brian, and, you know, we had a lot of counter-protesters, a lot of Antifa. None of that is around this year. I mean, you're seeing all Trump flags, Trump 2024, all the Biden people, to the extent they exist, are not organized and pretty deflated. So, you know, I think politically it's good for President Trump. It's just a shame that he has to spend time in the courthouse, which is total disgrace and total travesty of our justice system, rather than being on the campaign trail where he should be.
Yeah. Now, you're a New Yorker. How have you seen this city in particular change over the last couple of years, and has it gotten better in certain areas, or has it gotten worse?
It's all been downhill. I mean, the migrant crisis here in New York City is the worst as it's been, you know, anywhere else. I mean, you can't ride the subway system anymore. You have illegals flooding into historic hotels like the Roosevelt Hotel, which was once a great landmark here in New York City, now forever tarnished by illegals coming in. You have crime at all-time highs. The cost of living is atrocious, driving people out of the state. And of course you have the weaponized system of justice, and that's the reason why we're down here. You don't have your constitutional liberties or rights here in New York State, so it's been run pretty much to the ground. And you know, it's a shame that I will say more Republicans in New York. I mean, New York was the reason why the House of Representatives kept its majority, in large part, its razor-thin majority. So I would have liked to have seen more Republicans from the New York State delegation come out and show their support for President Trump. I think that would have been a powerful message, but we don't see too many out here.
Paul, thanks for saying that, because you're the first person I've heard say that today, and he's absolutely right. If this was to go down in any other state, if in Texas or my state or Georgia or Alabama or anywhere, I would want those congressmen, those elected officials, to come down and just at least speak out and support. So great point that you pointed it out. I have not seen any elected anybody, Democrat or Republican representative here so far. So also, let's talk about what should President Trump do on day one, Paul, assuming that we get the support of the American people and we get him elected. And what should he do on day one?
Well, he has to pardon all the J6 defendants who are now languishing in the D.C. gulag. That's a big priority. He has to close the southern border. I mean, that's a major, major concern. Obviously, the illegal crisis is at a point that is unprecedented in our history. So I think closing the border and, of course, ultimately draining the swamp He has to get his people in there, especially in the Justice Department, the FBI, reform those agencies, downsize the size of government, and get the strong people he needs, the loyal people and the competent people in those key administrative posts.
You've seen the support. The polling is great, head-to-head, Paul. He's basically beating, Biden almost in every poll, every state. He continues to grow the Hispanic and African American vote, which I think is crucial as well.
Yeah, I mean, you saw a state like Florida just a couple of years ago. It was a swing state. Now it's decisively red, and a lot of those new supporters are Hispanics and non-traditional Republican demographic voter blocks. I think you're seeing the same thing in states even like New York and New Jersey, former Democrats, independents, shifting decisively in favor of President Trump because they see what is going on to our country right now with Biden's disastrous policies, both at home and abroad, and with the weaponized system of justice, which imperils not just President Trump, but all Americans and their fundamental due process rights.
So as we move on, any talking points you want to put people who live in New York City, what can they do on the local basis? I know you're active in a lot of different organizations, and I know that everyone appreciates the hard work that you do for not only America, but for particularly in here in New York, because Mike Crispy's another guy that's on he's in New Jersey across the river, but he's a character. But we need people like that. It's funny, it's interesting. If you're a New York Republican, it seems like to me, you've got to be a little bit more outspoken than normal. You've got to really be.
Well, you're battle tested. You're behind enemy lines, so of course you have to do that. And the Republicans in this state, frankly, are not the best in the world. They're rhinos. They're part of the Uni Party, so they need to be challenged. And the best way to do that, I don't know what's going on over there. The best way to do that is to come out, show your support, demonstrate. You still have the right to assemble, and that's why we're here right in front of the courthouse, because ultimately the court of public opinion is what determines elections, and that's what's going on today.
Paul, we appreciate it. How can people follow you?
I'm Paul Ingrassia, paulingrassia.substack.com, paulingrassia.substack.com, where I publish all my latest writings.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it. Thank you for your time, and I really appreciate your time on it. That's good insight. Where is the Republicans here in New York? They should be here. Now, granted, they're going back in session. I get it. Hang on. Let's see what's going on over here. There's something. We've got an activist.
Brian, you get me next.
Kara, oh my Kara! That means he wants to fuck. Where's Andrew? Kara. Oh my God.
Okay, obviously, when we talked earlier about the cast of characters that come out to these rallies, this is exactly what I'm talking about. And this is just meant to let's listen in. I know there's going to be some language here, so I apologize.
How you gonna call someone a piece of garbage and just roll around with the cooch all out? Got white butt cheeks with brown skin. Never seen that one before. Yeah, you did it yourself. Come on.
Okay, so before she came, this event here was relatively uneventful as far as turn around here. I know the sun's glazing your sky. I'll follow you around if you want to do that. But before she came here, obviously, this is all made to get attention. This is nothing but a publicity stunt. Now she's crashing an interview done right now. This is
It's 11 o'clock.
Ask me a question. Ask me a question.
I got no question to ask you, Crackhead. I'm not intellectually curious about Crackhead Barney. That's just not one thing that I've done right there. That's just one thing. Look at that. She's leaning into me over here. I think I got. Did I get heat tuned by Crackhead Barney? I think I got heat tuned by Crackhead Barney. Hey, Alvin, really, do something about this. I just got here.
You should be lucky. You should be lucky. You should be lucky.
lucky. You should be lucky.
Hey guys, hey, you do it again. You do it again. We're calling a cop over here.
Oh, we got Andrew Giuliani.
Because I stand with Israel.
Why?
Because.
So you want 30,000 Palestinian kids dead or
do,
more?
Do you want kids being beheaded? Is that what you want?
The Zionists are doing it.
The
Zionists are doing it.
You're into some very, very dirty stuff there, crackhead.
I think Hamas.
But do you like it when women are raped, when Israeli women are raped, that they actually end up getting stabbed with nails in their vagina
where are you getting your
afterwards?
facts?
And then actually doing that?
These aren't facts.
Are you getting your facts from the
These
United
aren't
Nations?
facts.
Is that where you're getting your
These
facts
aren't
from?
facts.
That
Have you
makes
seen
a lot of sense.
Instagram videos? Have you seen
That makes a lot
Instagram?
of
So
sense.
you agree with genocide.
That's what?
You agree with genocide.
I am
You like the
pro-Israel.
genocide
I'm pro
of
standing up for
Palestinian
Israel
people.
right there, and absolutely for standing up for our Israeli brothers.
Oh
yeah!
That's bullshit.
Always.
Andrew Giuliani
Always, crackhead.
agrees with genocide.
I agree
Andrew
with
Giuliani
Israel.
agrees with the killing of
And crackhead
30,000
Barney,
Palestinian children.
who gets up at 11:30 because she's taking a little too much crackhead over here. Who ends up
Don't you want some of my crack?
We're mixing it up.
Don't you want some of my crack?
I don't mind dealing with this one. I can handle her. If I can't handle her, then I can't handle anybody.
Exactly.
She's the worst. Look at this.
Exactly.
Come on.
Wait, what makes me the worst?
Crackhead,
What
give me
makes
some
me
room.
the worst?
Give me
What
some room,
makes
you
me the
crackhead.
worst? Wait, what
Give me
makes
some
me the
room,
worst?
crackhead.
You said I'm the
Give me
worst.
some room. Yeah,
What
you're the
makes me
worst.
What did I do?
Because you have no problem actually having kids being burned alive in Israel. That's what you're all
That's
about.
what Israel does to
That's what you want.
Palestinians.
That's
That's
what
what
you
Israel
want.
does to Palestinians. That's what Israel does to Palestinians.
Were you on a crack binge on
I
October
don't know.
7th? Is
Were
that
you?
what happened?
Were you?
Were you? No,
Did
I was
your
here.
dad take
I'm
crack?
actually watching
Did your
all
dad
this
take
right
crack?
now. Were
You're
you
taking crack.
with your buddy Hunter? Is that what it was? You
I
snuck
don't know.
with Hunter on October 7th?
We like
I
crack.
give it a mic drop
We
on
like
that
crack.
one there, Barney.
We like crack.
Hasta
We
luego.
like
See you
crack,
tomorrow,
bitch.
Barney.
We like crack, bitch.
Bye-bye,
We like
Barney.
crack.
Don't touch me. Don't touch me. Don't touch me. Don't touch me.
So you're a dirty Zionist, Andrew.
Do not touch me.
You're a dirty Zionist, Andrew.
I am pro-Israel now.
That's disgusting. You're losing the propaganda war. You're losing the propaganda war.
Yes.
You're losing the propaganda war.
Because when I look at somebody that has the facts, I
You're
think
losing the propaganda
Do you
war.
support Hamas? Is that?
Yes,
she does.
Yes.
You support
Yes.
terrorism?
I'm a Hamas whore.
Crackhead
I'm
Barney
a
supports
Hamas
terrorism.
whore. You're a fucking terrorist.
There you go.
I'm a Hamas whore.
Okay.
Hamas
I
whore.
think we've had enough.
Hamas
I
whore.
think we've had enough.
Hamas
There you
whore.
go. That's what you have.
Hamas whore.
How can you let anybody?
I'm a gay homo Hamas whore.
That's
I'm a gay homo Hamas.
All right, I'm going to back off of this. Joe, let's. I think at this point I'm going to dip out of this. It comes to a certain point that I'll cover a little interaction, and then it comes to a certain point I want nothing to do. My good friend Lou, how you doing? Good to see you too. I gave that about probably 3 minutes more attention than I should have given that. But to Andrew Giuliani going into, I guess, debating the crack woman, I think what he was called, crack woman.
Say that on YouTube. We don't want to get banned, but yes, she is some type of crack something.
She's a paid activist is what she is. Let's talk about, you brought up something I think that was very insightful, why we're not seeing anyone on the protest side. You brought up an excellent point. I want us to recap that. First, I met you about this time last year. I was just standing right up there, and I was kind of getting heckled by, I think, a homeless guy at that point, or another paid activist. You stepped in and was like, hey, Brian, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. But let's talk real quickly about, we'll get into your content because I want everybody to know who you are and follow you. I think that's important. But why aren't we seeing a lot of protesters here today?
Well, like Jordan Peterson said, a bunch of people were showing up to his campuses when he was doing late arrivals, like around 12, 1 p.m. So he tricked them. He started doing it in the morning. Everybody's been out here since 7, 8 o'clock in the morning. Those leftists, liberals, Marxists, whatever, they're not coming out here that early in the morning. Let's just be honest. Last time they were motivated because it was Trump's first time being arraigned and all these different things. But the motivation has left because they have a new scam. It's called the Palestine scam, where they jump from scam to scam, which is BLM. Now it's Palestine. And of course, that's just what these paid activists do, in my opinion.
So they were here last time because he was getting arrested. They could follow that. But the story of this trial and the reasonings behind it, I think they don't, have the mental capacity to keep up with what's going on in our country politically. They just know they should come to this date, hate this guy, say these things, and go on.
Well, like you said, they don't even know what's going on with the Trump trials. I'm pretty sure none of them keep up with it. Yeah, and the only thing they know is that they probably read somewhere that today we got to go protest for Palestine, and we got to just stand up for Palestine. We don't have no idea why, and they'll be somewhere downtown probably today. But that's about it.
They're going to be somewhere on Wall Street around 2 o'clock is what I heard from a source. So, but that does explain why you don't see him here. And you brought up another aspect of the demo of these people, and they're young. They've got a lot of free time, obviously. They may be part-time college, but let's kind of talk about who these activists are.
Well, I do want to give them some type of credit. A lot of people don't, but you got to think about it this way. I was once one of those young people. I'm 27 years old. When I was 19, 18 years old, I was looking for purpose, and I was looking to make a difference. That's what they're trying to do. The problem is they're being misguided. So they have passion, but it seems very misguided passion, uninformed passion. And a lot of them don't even know what's at stake here today. So that's my opinion as to why a lot of these people, they do have passions, they do have good intentions most of the time. Maybe that's too much to say, but yeah, most of them are just young kids that are hungry to do something, and they're being captured by the college system. Most of these colleges here in New York are all liberal anyways, NYU, Pace, all they're learning is how to be against Donald Trump or against, any Republican or any type of conservative ideology.
Yeah, it's misguided compassion is a lot of times what I call that as well. Let's talk about the content you create. One thing I love about New York City is we've met a lot of people that have their own YouTube channels and other platforms, and I love they're out here doing their thing, kind of talking about New York City. Let's talk about your content.
Well, yeah, I believe we're making a huge impact. A lot of different people from New York City. As you see some wild stuff going on. Don't want to show you that. It's too crazy. But I believe that New York is turning around slowly, and it's growing. And I believe that in the Bronx, I'm making an impact because people that look like me, they're finally starting to realize that we all have aligned. We might align with somebody from the South that's white, that got a beard, that don't look nothing like them. And they're starting to realize that we all have conservative values that we grew up with, which is why you see a lot of the people that are Hispanics coming into America, a lot of them from Cuba, a lot of them that come from this communist socialist ideology or economy. They know the consequences to what's happening in the United States of America. That's where you see a lot of them. So a lot of them are looking at me and they're attaching themselves to it. And I love that, because if you look like somebody, or sometimes that might just be it. You might want to listen because you look like somebody. So the good thing is that I'm able to capture everybody. And I have panels, and I'll close it with this. I'll have panels where you see the most different races, the most different styles of beings. And I love that. That's what's called unity. And that's what the 1% is afraid of, that we all come together.
This is such a great interview. Lou, I'm so thankful for you. And you've got people that are in this space that are different, and you laid it out because we want people that could be able to identify with you. Yeah. And because they'll say, wait a minute, he's got some brown skin. He's not supposed to like President Trump. Or, hey,
I'm bridging the gap. This is the most important thing, and this is why I believe I'm demonetized on YouTube and I've been hit hard, is because I'm bridging a gap that was missing for probably the last 25, 30 years. It's bridging the gap between me, Brian, me, and the next different guy that might look like me, that might think Brian is this racist guy or whoever. They never met Brian. They don't know Brian, but I know Brian. So that's what I'm saying. I think bridging the gap between everybody in New York, I think we could turn the state around and make it more to the center, at least, because it's so far left.
It is far. Okay, how can people watch your content? We got a little skirmish going on and off right now. Here's what's funny, Lou. None of this was going on until she got here. None of this was going on until. Think about this.
Yeah. So for those that cannot see what's going on, there's an argument going on. This is what. I don't know. They can hear that, right?
Yeah.
It's pretty passionate.
Yeah. Maybe let's turn around.
Just show a little bit, maybe. You want to be careful.
We got police coming in now. As they probably should. Look, I'll be honest with you. As soon as she walked in here, being like that,
good job, baby. Get out of here. Yeah.
So she's being escorted out by New York police.
That's just attention-seeking animal. That's what she is, and she's known for that. And this is what they probably get paid to do. This is what mostly all the Trump protests will probably look like in liberal cities. People trying to antagonize, cause fights, cause commotion. Good thing that officer stepped in. That's good.
It is good. Okay, going back to your content, your channel.
Oh, yeah.
How can people find you? Sorry, we got.
We're good.
We came on top of the show. We knew the show would be fluid, that things would happen and break out. And that's a good example. But how can people find your content, consume it, and support you?
Yeah, you guys can find me on Rumble and YouTube at Lou Valentino, on Locals at Lou Valentino, even on X at Lou Valentino. And I appreciate you, Glenn. The city always welcomes you. You know, every time I'm here, you got me, man.
Can we talk about sports just for a second? We got another little guy running from her. He needs to.
Yo.
It's enough. It's enough. Stop. He's trying to harass.
Yo, but there's another situation going on right there, too. Yeah, there's like one cop, two cops. There's not enough cops for this.
There's not enough cops out here right now.
But they're all coming in now.
Yeah, well.
He's gotta go.
He's gotta go.
He's got a black eye for one thing. I'm not sure. He lost a fight somewhere. I would imagine he's being escorted out. And I think he actually, I couldn't tell if he was a friendly or not, but there's one thing I was going to ask you, and it slipped my mind right now. Sports! Giants, how are we looking this season? With the draft coming up?
With the draft coming up, we're looking pretty good. We're looking solid. Look, I got to say, as a New York Yankees fan and Rangers fan, I'm just focused on those because the Yankees are starting off great, and then the hockey team, which is the New York Rangers, the only hockey team in New York. Don't listen to people when they say New York Islanders. No. It's just the Rangers. We're looking going to the playoffs now. But yeah, Giants all the way, man. I'm all about the blue and red teams in New York. That's it. If they're not blue and red, I just can't root for them.
It's crazy how New York's got so many sports teams. You know what I'm saying? There's the sports world here. There's always something going on in this city.
There's always something going on. But mostly what's going on today is Trump, which is just crazy, right? Because when you think of Trump, you think of every sports athlete that used to love him in the city. He was on every rap song. If you look at Trump's history, which I did, and that's what my channel was focused on, I was like, yo, why are they going after this guy? Why do they call this guy racist? Why do they say all these bad things? And when you look at the history of Trump, it's just ridiculous. Like, he was on 50 Cent. 50 Cent's from New York. He was on 50 Cent radio. And they were saying the N-word here, N-word there. They were chilling with Trump. And now all of a sudden, everybody's just turned against him because of political reasons. If you look at The View back in the early 2000s when they first had him on, look at Oprah. It's just the biggest switch up. But once again, I believe that that's just the 1% trying to stay in control. Like I said, I broke down Trump and the CIA. You guys can look at that video. I don't want to do a crazy promo, but Trump and the CIA and how he moved into more private sectors and private negotiating with CIA agents and stuff like that. It's just Trump's moves when he first got to the White House is, to me, one of the main reasons why they're going after him and why you see so many things happening here in the city, especially in New York.
We got police here now. All right, here we go. All right. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Take care. God bless. Man.
Yep. Thank you, Lou Valentino, and we're gonna probably, we've got police. It took, until she showed up. This place was relatively calm, but then she came in with the circus act, which brought in the media, which brought in her desire to probably cut up more, and that's what you saw. But anyway, I apologize for the language. Yeah, I apologize for the language you might have saw. What's your name? Dorian. Where are you from?
New York City.
How do you like it today? What's your thoughts on today?
Well, I'm for Trump. I'm totally for Trump. I seen him come in the motorcade. He's great. He's the only one who can save America. Really, he's the only one.
I'm always surprised just how many Trump supporters are in this city.
Me too. I think they're a little quiet, I think he's got to do the rally at the end, the Madison Square Garden.
Would you love to see a rally at Madison Square Garden?
I would definitely go.
I think that would probably be the most covered rally we've...
He would come out and really support him. Because I've talked to people, but they're just kind of quiet about it. But I think they're really here. Yeah. I think they really would support him.
What should President Trump do on day one when he comes in here?
Build the wall. Yeah, just close down the border. He's got to do that. He's got to stop the crime. Yes.
Want to get a picture real quick?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, let's do that. But I got to go on and just pay some bills.
Thank you so much. Okay.
Thank you.
So
God
much.
bless. Thank you for being out here. I love
RSPN.
Oh,
I watch it all the time.
We genuinely appreciate you. Trust me, we do. Thank you very much. God bless. I just love that. Let's turn around here so I don't have the lights bleeding the camera. Let's talk about our friends over at Tax Network USA. Today is April 15th. Today is tax day. You got to get it done. And whether or not you owe back taxes from a year, 2 years, 3 years, doesn't matter. Go check these guys out at Tax Network USA and get rid of that anxiety that might be over. The information for Tax Network USA is on your screen. Tax Network USA. They're A+ from the Better Business Bureau. They can absolutely help you with your tax problems. Tax Network USA. That's Tax Network USA. As we adjust the camera there, this is what we thought would happen today on all of this. Tax Network USA. Tax Network USA. Sun's out. It's a beautiful day here in New York City. Yesterday we had mostly sunny skies, a little bit of rains, patchy rain in and out. The last previous 2-3 days it has rained from what I've been told every single day. But today the skies are out. It's blue. I call them bluebird skies, the sunny skies right now for day one of this jury selection. Now this could go up to a week or so on the jury selection, and once the jury is selected out of 500 people to find that 12 that's impartial, and I don't know if that's possible here in New York City, the trial is expected to last about 3 weeks. Once the jury is selected, President Trump is scheduled and mandated to be in the courtroom Monday, Tuesday, Thursday from 9 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So obviously he is going to be here quite a bit. But like I said at the top of the show, the media presence that's here, and as far as all the remarks that he might give after a trial, in my opinion, weighs more than any rally that he could ever do, because we've got world media here for him. And of course, we love the rallies, and it's a great messaging platform for him. But these press, the amount of press here will give him press as well. I'm just every time I hear somebody scream, I just want to make sure everything's okay. Come over here to you. How you doing?
All right, Brian. Good to see you.
Good to see you too. Let's talk about first why we're here today, and then we'll talk about what you're involved with.
Well, I'm here today to support Donald J. Trump. I feel that he's the only victim in this case, and actually the American people are the victims in this case. They keep trying to make up charges on this man. He's the most vetted candidate we've ever had in American history. They're trying to nail him on everything.
When the facts don't really go in that direction, they're still going to go after him.
There's nothing stopping him, and it's obvious that the Biden administration is colluding with all of the people bringing these cases. You're seeing them having meetings at the White House, and it's total collusion, and it's election interference. They're trying to keep Donald Trump in a courtroom instead of out campaigning where he needs to be.
But right before I came to you, I actually think the media coverage he gets off of this is huge, without a doubt. Well, they're going to listen to him every day. And granted, he can't go do campaign stops, right? But they're going to talk about him every single day.
Listen, it's BS that we need to be here for this particular reason, but I love seeing everybody. I love seeing the support, and that's why he's going to go up in the polls again every time they try to bring a case like this.
Let's talk about New Jersey for Trump. Let's talk about VoteJerseyJoe.com.
So, thank you for bringing that up. So my name is Jersey Joe Belnome, and I am running for Congress in the 11th Congressional District.
Who's in there now?
Mikey Sherrill, okay. Congresswoman. And, we need America First candidates. We need America First representatives, because when Donald Trump wins in November, he's going to need candidates and representatives like me to support his vision and people that represent America First. Absolutely.
What would you say the number one agenda should be for President Trump when he gets back in office?
We need to restore integrity in our government. We need to secure our border. There's a whole list of items underneath the border that's causing. It's more than just America being better off when Donald Trump's president. The whole world is better off. We're seeing what's happening around the world. There's no stability. When you have weak leadership in America, the whole world is in chaos. It's a dumpster fire right now. And it's like Donald Trump says, everything Biden touches turns to shit.
It's interesting that you talked about bringing integrity back. We had earlier, they talked about accountability, holding people that have weaponized the DOJ and the FBI accountable for what they've done. That's a little bit in that same space of let's just clean up our government the best we can and make sure that, like the FISA warrants, great example. They can come spy on Americans without the use of a warrant, unless you spy on somebody in Congress. Like if you were to get in Congress, they've got to notify you before they spy on you.
It's rich because unfortunately, that didn't pass, and that's exactly what they did to Donald Trump. We saw when he got elected, they were spying on him and everybody in the whole campaign. And then they were releasing all these headlines and like, how the hell are they getting all this information? They abused it. It's the weaponization of our Justice Department and FBI, and that's something I'd like to reform and restore integrity in.
As far as New Jersey speaking, how has this Biden administration, the policies, how's it affected New Jersey in particular?
You know, so I'm only my district is only 10 miles out of where we are right now. So, this place is flooded with illegal aliens. They're committing crimes. They're coming to my district committing crimes as well. It's already happened. Every state is a border state right now. And New Jersey is no exception.
There you go. Once again, that website for people to get more about your platform.
VoteJerseyJoe.com. Please visit, donate. I'm up against the machine here, and you definitely want.
How long had that person been in Congress? I'm not familiar with that district. So.
About 3 terms.
Okay. So yeah. You've got a little bit of a little mini institution in there right now.
Yes, yes. Yeah. But everything is flippable, especially in a year where Donald Trump's on the ballot. And
what does the polling look for you right now?
They didn't issue any polling yet. Yeah. But it's a +6, I believe.
Knocking on doors, I would imagine.
Doors, supermarkets, media interviews.
Grassroots campaign.
Yes, yes. Thank you.
You're absolutely right. Vote Jersey Joe. Nice website, by the way. That was.
It's a call to action.
You're the only Joe that's on. That could be that.
Yes, I do have a primary in June. So make sure you come out and support me.
There you go. All right. Thank you so much. We'll get out of the way over here. Let me get over here. We got to pay some bills with talk about some stuff. Let's talk about the wellness company. How to get away from all that. The wellness company, guys. This is something that we absolutely need to have, and we don't know what the future, as far as the next pandemic is concerned. We don't know anything like that. But what you can do is check out our friends at the wellness company. The information for that is on your screen. Get the medicine, the meds that you need to make sure that if in light of anything that would happen, that you and your family is protected. So information, Dr. Peter McAuliffe and some great doctors developed this emergency medical kit. Go check it out. The Wellness Company. The information is on, sorry.
I just need a minute.
I'm sorry. I apologize. Nothing like being live on jumping from last night. I saw it. So anyway, I apologize to that media outlet. Go check it out. The Wellness Company. Information for that is on your screen, and we can't talk about them enough. We can't talk about how valuable they are as well. So go check it out. Dr. Peter McAuliffe, the Wellness Company. This is the scene now. I would probably say, since the distraction kind of exited out of here, you've got a little bit more of just your still photographers and some of the supporters that were here from the very beginning. There is a good shot of the flag there. And that is a courthouse across the street. You've got Media Row that we started off this broadcast at. I would probably say, if I was to compare this to last time, double the media that is here now than was here whenever Trump was indicted on the last time we were here at Collect Pond Park. So huge media presence here. It is a global story. It's just not a national story. It has turned into a global story. I remember these two ladies sitting down right now. Sitting down on the bench right now. I remember talking to those two ladies. We'll talk to them just a second. They're doing an interview right now. But people are very passionate here. You've got the people that, in my opinion, are totally paid to do what they're doing. And that's why they show up, to be distracted, and they show up to be basically, draw some attention to them. But then you have the people that genuinely want to, save America. They're genuinely here. They love this country. They're not paid to come here and support President Trump, but all of these other, political activists on the other side that are against President Trump, they're paid. These guys are paid actors. There's no way that somebody wakes up in the morning and tells themselves, I'm going to go ahead and venture down come down to this area and protest because they just, they have nothing better to do that day. So it's kind of interesting. And you do have a few people. Let's just, if people are joining us right now, they'll say, hey, what's going on? Where's all the protesters? There's behind me. We'll get a good shot of that. That is where, the protesters would have been. But as we talked about earlier, this is interesting, that the people that were so involved with the first protest have moved on to the Free Palestine protests, where they pop up around cities and a lot of times in transportation districts or areas around a city, a subway, a highway, airport areas. So I've been told here in New York City they're going to plan a protest around Wall Street at 2 p.m. That might explain why some of them aren't here. But I also think that initially this whole Trump movement, this protest, was purely based on the fact that they were told to hate this guy. This guy was being arrested, and you should hate him for this, and that. When they have moved on, so they don't follow the policies, and a lot of times if you try to engage one of these activists, they probably know one or two talking points, and they generally scream at you over and over again, just like we saw the girl earlier do Andrew Giuliani. They don't necessarily know policies. They just know how to be disruptive. And I think this young, misguided compassion group that had been here before to show a presence, I think they've moved on to obviously something much different, something that the Palestine movement is something more emotional, and they're doing that. I am seeing kind of some motorcades move through here. I'm not sure if it's police. I've got some vans. A lot of times they'll put some vehicles in place. I don't necessarily see that. I'm going to check some messages here to see if I've got anything follow up from the campaign or from legal defense. I'm just making sure I didn't miss anything here. Bear with us. Live look here. Collect Pond Park, as we are coming up at 11:34 here local time. We plan to go to about 12 or so, and we'll break away from this. This does look like it's starting to subside some. And then obviously if President Trump does make any remarks today from the courthouse, we'll try to get those, or from our Trump Tower, we'll certainly be able to provide that to you as well. So we'll be able to bring those remarks to you. So we're going to probably, I don't know if we have Vanessa on standby. We can perhaps toss it over to her to see if if she's heard any developments in the last hour or so. We can also get a look at Trump Tower to see if there's any support gathered around that, as well, as that's been one of the focal points. In the past it has been for this. And let's see if we can get over here. Yes, follow me. Bye. How are you guys doing? I remember talking to you guys last year, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe not. Brian from Right Side Broadcasting Network. Yeah. You speak English or? A little. Trump. You support Trump?
Yes.
Why?
Why? If you support common sense, you support Trump. If you support the Bible truth, you support Trump. If you want your children like Balloon, like Ivanka, you support Trump. If you want your children like Hunter Biden, you can support everybody. Yeah.
I love it. And of course, you guys talk about your political persecution.
Yes. Because he do everything not wrong. It's good. Why? Why now is a criminal? I don't know.
This is something you see in other countries do to people. Yes. Not here in the U.S.
In China, if the governor want your money, they can make you a victim. Yeah.
God bless you guys being out here. Thank you so much. Thank you. God bless. We the people, one day, one vote, one paper. Who can't get on? This is great right here. This is common sense. I don't know. One day on paper. Yeah. Voter ID. I don't know. I can't get on a plane if I don't have an ID. I can't even a lot of times pick up a rent a car or anything else without a voter ID, without an ID.
Pay tax. You can't vote. right? If you are not citizen, you can't vote. If you can't do anything for this country, why you vote?
Even one day, yeah, one day. No, like 2020 is yeah, like a season.
One month.
Yeah, just one day. Word.
I love these women. They're out here showing their support, to President Trump. One day.
No war season, no one month. Yeah, it's terrible. That's a lot of cheating inside.
A lot of cheating on the inside. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I would remind everybody to follow me on social media at Brian Glenn TV across the board, X, True Social at Brian, Facebook, Instagram as well. We'll be out here posting up some videos here. We're also going to see if we can get the very latest on what we can expect as we go through this week. I know Monday, Tuesday, Thursdays have been reserved for this criminal trial, but I'm not sure what the situation is in regards to this week. So we'll try to get a little bit more information. And if there are any remarks from President Trump, we'll make sure we bring that to you as well. Even when we break off here in a little bit, we're going to monitor that situation, and we definitely will drop in and be able to inform you on that. Also, don't forget to sign up for our newsletter as well, rspnetwork.com. Sign up for our newsletter. Grace Saldana has done a fantastic job on laying out a newsletter that is awesome. It comes right to your inbox, and you can get the news you need to know for you and your family. So go to our website for that as well. You can also donate on the website, rspnetwork.com/donate. We're gonna monitor the situation here. We've got more people coming up with their little displays or whatever. We'll see what that's all about. We'll bring that to you. In the meantime, Vanessa Broussard is live out front of Trump Tower, and we'll get the very latest from her. So, Vanessa, we know what the situation is here. What is it like over there in front of Trump Tower?
Hey, Brian, we're continuing to track President Trump from outside Trump Tower on 5th Avenue here in Manhattan. It's not like you see over there at the courthouse, a lot calmer out here along East 56th Street and East 57th Street, the block that surrounds Trump Tower. I'm going to step out of the way so you can get an idea of what it looks like along this block. As you can see, just a typical day here in New York City. Now, there were much more law enforcement officers and barricades this morning. If you're just now joining us, this was all barricaded off as President Trump exited the side of the building and to his motorcade as they drove 20 minutes to the court building where he is right now. And there were several people outside, dozens of people, supporters of his, shouting, "We love you." As he walked out of the building, he gave a wave to the supporters as well as to the media over here at Right Side Broadcasting Network. He gave a wave here as well. So right now, you had mentioned earlier, Brian, are there some supporters gathered around here? No, I think they're all heading your way. The answer is that we have seen a lot of people walk by us here in the last couple of hours, and there have been plenty of people to ask us, where is President Trump? And we tell them he's at the courthouse, and they said, okay, thank you, we're heading that way. So they're not gathered here because they know he's not here. They're wanting to go where he's at, and that's over there at the courthouse. Now, I'm assuming that when he ends his case today, the court hearing today, that when he returns back to Trump Tower, we'll have a crowd here gathered as well. But in the meantime, everyone just wants to be where President Trump is, and we're just sending them over to the courthouse. That's where he is right now, but reminding all of these supporters that he'll be back here sometime this afternoon, and Right Side Broadcasting Network will be here monitoring the situation like Brian just mentioned. We're still waiting to hear what the rest of the day looks like from the Trump team, and once we get clarification on that, we'll definitely be the first to let you know here, coming to you live from Trump Tower. Now, when President Trump walked into court this morning, he did have some words to say before he entered the courtroom, and one of the ones that really stands out to me, a quote from President Trump says, quote, "I will run for president from jail." If that doesn't give you hope, I don't know what will. So even though Alvin Bragg and Peekaboo James and all the corrupt leaders in this city are trying to bring him down, he says, no matter the case, I will still run from jail. He says, quote, this is a political persecution, not a prosecution. He says this is a persecution, an absolute assault on America. President Trump went on to say on Truth Social, I just want my voice back. This crooked judge has gagged me. Unconstitutional, rigged trial, he says, and that's because of the gag order that the judge had placed on President Trump. President Trump saying that the left, the Democrats, can talk about him in the case, but since the gag order is now in place, President Trump is not allowed to talk about the case at all, and President Trump claiming there that this is unconstitutional and definitely not fair. Now, the reason that this has taken place is because of the polling numbers. The left is scared. We all know that. President Trump is dominating in the polls. The latest polls from Interactive Polls shows that in the general election come November, that Trump is leading right now 53% against Joe Biden, and among independent voters as well. That was a key concern heading into 2024. How would the independent voters sway their decision when it comes to Joe Biden and President Trump? Well, the latest numbers just out today shows a great showing for President Trump, 59% to Biden's 41%. So President Trump doing very well with independent voters, because even those independent voters know that this is all rigged. These are all sham cases. These are all witch hunts against President Trump, and this all needs to end. We have big concerns in this country, but the left is only concerned about stopping President Trump. Well, before we go on more with what's happening in court right now, I want to remind you about this great product. We'll take a little break here to tell you about this great product that's wonderful for your skin, for men, for women, you name it. They're based out of Texas, and it's great skincare. It's called Angel Paste, and it'll help you with your wrinkles. It'll help you with sunspots. It'll help you with bruises, scars, you name it. It just makes its customers feel so much better. So many testimonials about how much better people feel with this Angel Paste. They are patriotic people. This company supports our veterans. They hire our veterans first for this company. So make sure you support them. This cream is like nothing you'll find on the market. So you'll get it right here on RSBN. We'll tell you all about it. It contains 0 chemicals, hydrates your skin without feeling greasy. People are saying they look younger. We all want to look and feel younger, right? Well, here's your opportunity to do so. Get the miracle cream that everyone is raving about. Angel Paste Miracle Cream. That information is on your screen. Your skin will drink it up. All you have to do is go to angelpaste.com. That's angelpaste.com. Use the RSBN code at checkout, RSBN, and you will get a discount on your order. Now, we've been outside here of Trump Tower all morning. Brian has been outside of the courthouse, but what's happening inside the courthouse? Well, jury selection begins. This isn't a jury selection like your typical trial that may just last a day or two. This is going to take some time. We're expecting days of jury selection, if not up to 2 weeks of jury selection here in Manhattan. And so in order to be selected, you have to be a Manhattan resident. You have to speak English. You have to answer a survey or questionnaire of 40 plus questions. And the attorneys from both sides, the prosecutors and the defense, will question each potential juror to see if they are fit to sit in the jury box. 12 will be chosen. Now, will that be fair? Just a reminder that we are in a Democrat city. In 2016, only 10% of the voters here voted for Trump. In 2020, only 12% of the voters here voted for Trump. So how can President Trump get a fair trial in New York City? We already see that he's being persecuted, in his words, persecuted by the judge and the DA. But now will he do so? Will that happen with the jury? Do people just not like Trump and they want to see him fail? We hope that the jurors are truthful. We hope they're mindful. We hope that they go by the law. They look at the evidence, they listen to the testimony, and they make the correct decision based on the evidence that was shown in court, not off of their personal feelings about the top candidate on the Republican side for the 2024 election. They'll be asked if they follow President Trump on social media. That may be a make or break deal. This is a very high profile case. President Trump is all over the news. He's all over social media. So will they be fair? Now, if this trial lasts for up to 8 weeks, can the jurors not watch television during that time? The news. Get on social media. It's all over Facebook. It's all over X, which is formerly Twitter. It's all over Instagram. Can this truly be a fair trial in this high-profile case? Now, when the 12 jurors are chosen, they'll only be known by number to you and me and to the rest of the public. The only people who will know their names is the prosecution, the defense team, President Trump, and the judge. To everyone else, they will just be known by number. Now, looking at the case itself, President Trump has pled guilty to all of these charges brought against him. He did so in a Manhattan courtroom last April. In April of last year, he pled not guilty to these charges. Trump says all this is a witch hunt to hurt his 2024 campaign, that he is innocent, he has done nothing wrong, he has not had sexual relations with Stormy Daniels, and that he had no idea where Michael Cohen was spending this money exactly. So if Michael Cohen pled guilty to certain charges in his cases, which is separate than Donald Trump's, Donald Trump was not aware of what exactly these payments were being made to. And Donald Trump, again, maintaining his innocence, saying he is not guilty, that this is a sham. This is the Democrat-run city of Manhattan, New York City, trying to bring him down and interfere with the 2024 campaign. And, of course, keeping him under a gag order during this time. Now, very interesting. I haven't brought this up yet today. Just not long ago, President Trump posted on his Truth Social page a picture from 2018 of a handwritten statement by Stormy Daniels, which she denied at that time any sexual relations. So she claimed it, then she denied it in a written statement. That was in 2018. And now she's claiming it again. So is someone like this, can they be trusted? She's going back and forth. She's wishy-washy. The same thing with Michael Cohen. Michael Cohen, years ago, talked about how trustworthy President Trump was, how wonderful he was, what a truthful working man that he was. But now he's going back and saying the opposite. So you have two key witnesses, Stormy Daniels and Michael Cohen, taking the stand, and it seems like they can't get their story straight. Stormy Daniels, did you or did you not have sexual relations with President Trump? First you said you did, then in this handwritten statement you said you didn't, and now you're saying that you did again. You cannot be trusted. And I hope that the jury sees that. And I hope that when they do see that they make the correct decision when they're coming up with a verdict. I also believe that President Trump's defense team will focus on the felony charges, the 34 felony charges, which should be misdemeanors. In any typical case, the charges brought against him should be misdemeanors. The DOJ investigated once they were brought up as felonies from DA Bragg. The DOJ investigated and found no wrongdoing, but the DA continued to keep them as felonies, which could serve up to 4 years in prison. This seems like a political witch hunt to me. Just not fair, unfair. Where are we in our political justice system? Where are we in our justice system when a DA can come up with whatever charges they want and then decide amongst themselves that they want it to be a misdemeanor or a felony? It's a very scary day here in America, and it's very worrisome, not only for President Trump, for all Americans, because I would hate for it to be you. I would hate for it to be me, because it's just not fair these days, and we just want fairness. So hopefully, God willing, this trial will be fair. It should be dropped But if it continues to move forward, we just hope that it is fair and the jury does what's right. Taking a look at Trump Tower behind me, I want to show you as we start nearing the end of our broadcast, we're seeing a lot of people coming in and out of Trump Tower, a lot of tourists taking pictures on the outside with their families, then walking inside. Very beautiful inside. You can imagine. I haven't been inside just yet today. I was inside yesterday. I didn't go inside yet today. But you can imagine that there's a lot more security on hand inside today as tourists come in and out. And when President Trump comes back from the courthouse, they will again shut down these roads, block these roads, no in and out. Also for pedestrians as well, riding their bikes and or walking, they cannot go back and forth here on this block. This is East 57th and East 56th along 5th Avenue. Now, giving you another idea, if you've never been to New York City, we are in a prime area of Manhattan. Taking a look, you just saw Gucci, you see Tiffany and Company, you see Louis Vuitton, you see Prada right across the street from Trump Tower. These are your top designers, name brands. You have to have big money to shop at these locations. And so this is the area known for. 5th Avenue of New York City is known for its shopping and these classy designers and just the classy area of the city. And this is right smack dab in the middle of where Trump Tower stands tallly, beautifully, proudly. And President Trump has said many times that DA Alvin Bragg, Peekaboo James, Letitia James, they're just trying to take his money. They're trying to take Trump Tower. They're trying to take his Trump hotels. They're trying to take Mar-a-Lago, which they're estimating at $18 million. That's a laughing joke. They're just trying to take it all away from him. They're trying to take him off the campaign trail, and they're trying to take freedom away from us. And this is where it all begins. It begins right here in New York City today for what may now be, in my opinion, the trial of the century. You have a former president who has never been heading to trial.
We are back here live at the Collect Pond Park, right in front of the courthouse where President Trump is in right now. As you can see, and we'll pan the cameras a little bit. The crowd has really subsided from what it was earlier. We had a couple instigators in here that were very passionate, obviously, about what they believe. A lot of supporters in here as well. Still, on the other side, where there's supposedly where the anti-Trump supporters were supposed to gather, there's really no one there. I want to thank our friends, all of our partners for today's broadcast. Obviously, if we do get remarks to come up that's planned from President Trump, we will break into coverage or break into covering that event. But we'll kind of like wrap it up here at Collect Pond Park. We do want to thank our partners that have made this possible. The Birch Gold Group is just that. If you simply want to invest in gold, silver, precious metals, you want to convert a traditional IRA into a gold-backed IRA, you can do that right easy. Text word Trump to 989898. Get that free information kit. They are A+ better rated with a Better Business Bureau. They'll send you the information kit, and you can make a decision on your own. That is the Birch Gold Group. Also, our friends over at Tax Network USA. It is April 15th. It is tax day. So if you hadn't paid your taxes in a year, 2 years, 10 years, if you owe $1,000, $10,000, our friends over at Tax Network USA can definitely help you out with that. Also, the wellness company, the pandemics, the potential pandemic, or any other harm that would be on our, in our society. You want to make sure you protect yourself and your family. The wellness company has that kit just for that. The information for that is on your screen. Quite honestly, could save your life. Then let's talk about an angel paste. What a great product. Let me tell you something. If you want to look younger, feel younger, of course, it all comes down with having a healthy body, healthy skin. Angel paste information for that is on your screen. And do not forget about these key promo codes there. RSBN is a promo code for that. Plus, our newsletter is going to give you all that's happening in the world of politics. It gets delivered straight to your door. Just go to rsbnetwork.com. click on the newsletter, sign up for it. Grace Saldana, our editor-in-chief, will get the news that you need to know right to your inbox. So go to rsbnetwork.com. And don't forget to donate at the website as well, because you can do that. We've got some great partners, but our biggest partner is you, the viewer. So go to our website, rsbnetwork.com/donate. You can be a one-time donation. You can do a reoccurring donation. It's all up to you. It's safe and secure, and we certainly appreciate your time on that. So as you can see, the crowd here has subsided considerably, but we're going to go ahead and monitor the situation here. Don't forget to follow us on social media, because whatever we come up with, whatever happens out here, I'm going to push out on social media on Right Side and myself at Brian Glenn TV. We'll do that as well. Plus, if there's any remarks that will come from the president today, I will bring those to you live as it happens. Don't forget to follow us on all of our social media platforms. And from New York, until next time, maybe later today, goodbye and God bless. Thanks for watching.
What's up, guys? My name is Jaden Hurd, and I have a Christian show called Let It Be Heard, where we analyze culture and current events.
So, meine Lieben, die haben jetzt definitiv entschlossen, dass sie ausscheiden hier mit dem Livestream. Donald Trump war nicht zu sehen. Wir konnten nichts Neues erfahren. Ich hatte das schon irgendwie vermutet. Wir haben getan, was wir konnten. Wir melden uns bald wieder. Euer Adi. Ciao.